CBS Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
First weeks at the new job.
At quarterback number 16, Ryan Leaf.
This week, the toughest challenge into Kansas City to face NFL sack leader Derek Thomas and the Kansas City Chiefs. The education of a young quarterback continues next. Rockin' Arrowhead Stadium, one of the loudest, most difficult stadiums to play in, especially if you come in unbeaten, like the Chargers, who today are hosted by the Kansas City Chiefs. And a pleasant good afternoon, everyone. With Sam Weiss, this is Kevin Harlan. What a great performance put in the first 2 weeks by Ryan Leaf. 2 wins, and this is an unbelievable way to start his rookie year.
Well, this is a kid that is doing what coaches hope will do. Eliminate the mistakes you made the week before. Last week against Tennessee, he didn't force the ball like he did in the first week of the season. This week, he's going to have to deal with one new factor, the crowd, the noise.
The crowd and an unbelievably tough Kansas City Chiefs defense led by Derek Thomas, who leads the NFL in sacks, the 9-time Pro Bowler from Alabama.
You know, the one thing you see when you've got a dominant player like Derek Thomas is that he's going to get in your area a few times, and the quarterback can help the offensive line by stepping up into the pocket. Don't retreat. Don't try to find a left or right way out of trouble. Step up into the pocket and let him push Derek Thomas and company on by. But this was going to be exciting. I think when the schedule was set, they didn't think this would be as good a ball game as this should be today.
It's going to be a beauty. Louis Aguiar has the ball teed up for the Chiefs. Usually Pete Stoyanovich kicks off, but his sore back relegates him to just kickoff duty. And a bouncing kick picked up by Latario Rashal, who's out to the 35. And a flag is thrown immediately at the 36. With our referee today, Dick Hantak, a return of 24 yards by the San Diego Chargers. And holding is the call right off the bat against San Diego. And Sam, this is a place where no visiting team can make any mistakes.
Well, and the special teams starting a ball game.
Holding on return, number 42. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Ryan Leaf is the first rookie quarterback to start his first 2 NFL games and win them both since John Elway in 1983.
And, you know, I can relate to this guy right here. Now, he's had 2 good outings. He's had experience winning, but he hasn't experienced the aggravation that this crowd's going to give him today.
With the penalty mark, it back to the 18-yard line. San Diego first down and 10. They've got Natron Means in the backfield, and Freddie Jones, the tight end, is in motion. And Leaf taking his time, play action. The defense bit the pass to the tight end. Jones is there at the 21-yard line with the pickup of 3 on first down. Tackle made by Dale Carter. A great rebuilt offensive line for the Chargers. Jackson Taylor, who started the last 2 Super Bowls for Green Bay. Fortin McKenzie at 35 years old, a great right guard. And Vaughn Parker moves from the left to the right side. Means in the backfield. Burke will be his blocking back. Brian Still, Freddie Jones, Michael Ricks, a rookie, are his receivers. Gain of 4 on first down. Call it second down along 6 from the Charger 21. And our first look today at Natron Means, who thought about coming to Kansas City after he was let go by Jacksonville. And he's out to the 23 with the gain of about a yard. Donnie Edwards makes the stop. Kansas City's defense, Leslie O'Neal, the former Charger, with Barn. John Browning starting today. Derek Thomas is the Falcon player. He's up and down on that line and back in the linebacking core. And what linebackers? Speed and quick. Simmons, Donnie Edwards, who they love, an emerging star, and Anthony Davis in the secondary. A couple of Pro Bowl corners with Carter and Hasty in the middle. Young players Woods and Reggie Tung.
And Brooks and McMillan are in on this third down call for the nickel defense.
3rd down and 5 from the 23-yard line. And Leaf lost the ball, and it was picked up by the Chiefs. No whistle is blown. This is a San Diego fumble, and Kansas City's got it, and Derek Thomas picks it up.
You know, Ryan Leaf fumbled the first play that he ever took a snap in the National Football League 2 weeks ago. Fumbles this one right into the arms of Derek Thomas. The ball just pops straight up, and then it's a tugging match there. Nobody really, I think, could find the ball. Finally, somebody makes a clean tackle. He just pulls away too early. A young quarterback with the crowd noise as it is tried to anticipate the snap. The center probably didn't come up with it at the right moment, or at least the moment that Ryan Leaf thought he was coming up with it. The ball popped completely free.
So a turnover. Thomas gets the ball. The Chiefs have it at the Charger 40-yard line with Kimball Anders in the backfield. And 1st and 10 for Rich Gannon. Going deep, and the pass dropped downfield by Derek Alexander. Rich Gannon has been a career backup. He's 32 years old. Last year, when he took the place of Elvis Gerbach, rattled off 5 consecutive wins, losing last week, starting for the injured Gerbach this year in Jacksonville.
You know, I'll tell you, they don't miss much right here. He's played all but 2 quarters this season, so when he's in the ball game, there's not that usual adjustment when a backup quarterback. He's not a true backup quarterback. They've got 2 starters, Gannon and Gerbach.
Gannon has had success wherever he's been, many years with the Vikings, Washington. Initially drafted by New England as a safety of all things. 2nd down and 10. And the handoff to Donnell Bennett, who is hit by Junior Seau and brought down after a nice punishing gain of 6 to the 33. Kansas City's line looks this way. Criswell, the longtime Jet. Parker moves over from right tackle to left guard because Zada's gone. Grunhard, the mainstay in the center. The all-pro Will Shields. Victor Riley is a rookie out of Auburn. And in the backfield, Bennett with the blocking back and great pass catching. Kimball Anders at the fullback. Risen along with Alexander are the wide receivers, and they like this young tight end, Tony Gonzalez, a former basketball player at Cal.
Basketball players, they'll show their chest on their release. They pop straight up, so you can chuck them pretty easily.
So it's 3rd down and 4 after the Charger fumble. The Chiefs at the Charger 34, and the handoff once again to Donnell Bennett. And he tumbles head over heels like a ragdoll down to the 32, which will bring up 4th and a couple, and Kansas City may try for 3. The San Diego defense has been great to begin the season. William Fuller, Norman Hand, John Perella, Marco Coleman, the former Miami Dolphin. In the linebacking core, good and strong Bush, Junior Seau, 7-time Pro Bowler, and Kurt Gavea plays outside. And in the secondary, Dimry taking the place of Harper again. Dimry was great last week. The safeties, Dumas and Harrison, who had 3 sacks week 1. Terran Shaw is the cornerback. The Chiefs are going to go for it on 4th and 2 with 2 tight ends, one of which, Gonzalez, is in motion. And the handoff fake by Gannon, who gets a block from his tight end Popson and picks up the 1st down with the late flag thrown at the 21. It's a gain of 11. Wonderful fake by Gannon, and that may be his calling card in the NFL. This guy loves to run the ball.
Personal foul.
He wasn't out of bounds.
Defense. Number 38.
He wasn't out of bounds.
1st down.
And Michael Dumas is claiming that Rich Gannon wasn't out of bounds, but they're going to protect that quarterback, even if he's the athlete that Rich Gannon is. Just a token fake, short yardage. Everybody looking for the straight-ahead run. Good block out front by Popson, almost. And right there, he is out of bounds, Michael. You can't hit anybody down there, especially if he's wearing a quarterback number. That time they had all the short yardage in there. They actually had number 70 come in the ballgame. Marcus Spears was a tight end for him, selling the run to the left. Gannon keeps it to the right.
1st and 10 from the 11. This all happens on a Leaf fumble exchange from center. So they're outside the 10 of San Diego. Gannon with time, pocket crumbles, and he'll be sacked and brought down by William Fuller. He had a sack week 1, comes up with one right there. That's the first time he's been brought down. William Fuller.
Watch Fuller as well as Junior Seau playing hard up into the middle, just the pressure. Really, there's enough time to throw. You only get about 3 seconds in this league, but you see William Fuller making the first hit. Here comes Seau and company. Solid pressure. This is enough time to throw the ball if you can get him open. And that time they had Tony Gonzalez split wide. He came in motion and was open in the end zone, but Gannon couldn't see him.
Loss of 5, 2nd down, 15. The rain has started once again here at Arrowhead. Gannon throws through that rain, and the ball dropped at the 10-yard line by tight end Tony Gonzalez, who's coming off a big reception game last week, 7 against Jacksonville down in Florida.
Well, I'll tell you, the reason that ball wasn't a completion is Tony Gonzalez. He didn't come back to the ball. You can see the rain is coming down. That's not the factor yet. As long as that ball either stays all wet or all dry, really, you're okay. It's when that ball is partially wet and dry and you get one finger on a slick spot that you have a problem. But Tony Gonzalez in the last play just did not come back to the ball.
As a former quarterback, what would you do in conditions like this?
Oh, throw the football. A wet day is an advantage for the offense and a big advantage for the passing game. You know where you're going, and you get no pass rush to speak of.
So it's 3rd and 15 from the Chargers 17. Gannon with time, and he'll go into the end zone for Gonzalez. Bobbled and dropped with the defense applied by strong safety Rodney Harrison. Incomplete.
Good coverage by Harrison. He tried to put a hand on Tony Gonzalez, but he didn't do it enough for the officials' blood right here. They were going to Gonzalez all the way. 2 plays ago, Gonzalez was wide open on a similar play to the other side. You see right at the end there, Rodney Harrison had a hand on Gonzalez, but he didn't affect the pattern, so they're not going to throw a penalty.
So Marty will opt for 3, and here's the leading scorer in the NFL, Pete Stoyanovich, the former Dolphin. A 35-yard try. On the hold is Aguiar, and the snap from Ralph Tam, which has really settled him down after a very wicked preseason. And from 35, Stoyanovich is good. So Kansas City cashes in on the San Diego fumble, and the big play on this drive, an 11-yard run by Rich Gannon on 4th down and 2. The Chiefs strike first on top of San Diego, 3-0. Raining in Kansas City at Arrowhead Stadium. Chiefs got a 35-yard field goal from Pete Stoyanovich after a Ryan Lee fumble, and here's the ensuing kickoff. And Rashal bobbles it again, picks it up at the 8, and he's out to the 14, getting away from Tony Richardson, and flags all over the place. It looks like a face mask on the Kansas City Chiefs.
Just got enough of that face mask. The only question here, is it a major or a minor grip on the face mask?
Yeah, there's a 5-yard, there's a 15-yard penalty.
Right. 2
Depending on how
flags.
severe.
They'll talk this one over and get their judgment on it before we hear from the officials.
Personal foul, face mask on the kicking team, number 49, 15 yards, first down.
That's fullback Tony Richardson guilty for Kansas City.
Big plus now. Remember, they had a penalty against them on the first kickoff of the game. This time they get that back a little bit. Dick Hantak, one of the best officials in the National Football League, by the way. This is a solid crew we've got today in the pouring rain. It's Alumni Day. How about those alumni at halftime? Would you like to?
They'll be wet.
Oh, they'll be wet.
Kevin Gilbride, 2nd season with the Chargers. He's got this team off to their best start since '81. From their own 28, 1st and 10 handoff, and it's Natron Means chugging up the middle and out near the 34, picking up 6 yards. Marty Schottenheimer will be 55 years old on Wednesday. 12 consecutive winning seasons. Came to Kansas City with general manager Carl Peterson in '89.
Very, very well respected around the league. Continually wins. Always has that bugaboo talking about the playoffs. But listen, if you get to the playoffs like he is, you have represented yourself well. Today's a test now. Coach's strategy comes into play more when the inclement weather kicks in.
How so?
Well, the fumbles, of course. You want to get the ball in the hands of your surest ball handlers. You usually want to throw the ball more if you can handle the ball, because the pass rush is not as strong. Paul Brown used to say you can't get a purchase. What do you mean by that? You can't dig your feet in as a defensive lineman and rush the quarterback. So bad weather usually favors pass protection. It usually is tougher on the offensive line to push people out of the way and run in the running game, because they can't get that same purchase. See, they're protecting the ball. They'll try to keep it as dry as they can, as long as they can. I used to worry about that, honestly, because if half the ball, the top half is wet, the bottom half is dry, except for where that ball's sitting on the wet ground, your hand is not sure what you're grabbing hold of, wet or dry football.
Dick Hantak has gone over to the Kansas City sideline. A couple things may be at play here. The headsets may be out, and that's why the stoppage of play. Neither team has called a timeout, but they may have some mechanical problem.
Right.
The clock, the play clock, the headsets, it could be a variety of things.
Well, the rule is that if one team loses a headset communication, the other side has to take it off. By rule, there's a little bit of an honor system involved right there, but some of the coaches respect.
Clock to 9 minutes and 58 seconds. 9:58, please.
This year, too, something different. No cords, no cables, all wireless headsets by the coaches on both sidelines.
Boy, the coaches loving that. Not stepping all over those big tangles of cords. I think this was the game clock, though. It was a little bit out of sync. They moved it back to 9:43 now. Apparently it had gotten out of sync. I don't know whether the weather had anything to do
didn't he
with
just
it.
ask for 9:58 or 9:56?
Yeah,
and they just changed it
it's
right
changing
now.
to 9:56. Is that right? 9:58.
9:58 they've gone to.
This stage of the game, that doesn't seem real important. Later in the game, it sure might be. Now Ryan Leaf's got to just compose himself, take a couple of deep breaths, get up to that huddle, look all those offensive linemen, look him in the eye, say, "We believe in you, baby. Let's go."
And he'll be looking in the eyes of Derek Thomas. 2nd down and 4. Means in the backfield. Couple tight ends. Leaf with that short drop and a pass that got away from him. He was looking for Freddie Jones. Right now back to our CBS studios in New York, and here's Jim Nantz. Jim, they're big shoes, but yes, he has found shoes.
Size 14.5, thank you.
It's 3rd down and 4. Chiefs on top 3-0. Hand off to Fletcher, their 3rd down back, and he can only get to the 34. He loses perhaps a half yard, and Donnie Edwards wrapped him up as the rain continues to fall here in Kansas City.
A little bit of a conservative call. They're taking into consideration what we're looking at right here. The weather or the conditions are a factor. The crowd is a factor. A young quarterback is a factor. Coach Gilbride is trying to take all that, give these guys a chance to stay in the game a little bit longer so they can settle down.
Aaron Bennett, who didn't punt to the second half last week in Nashville, will punt for the first time here. Tamarek Vanover is back. Great hang time on this kick. Over 4.5 seconds, and here's Vanover playing with the dislocated toe, and there he goes. He's out to the 41. Vanover, who was inactive last week against Jacksonville, knocked out by David Binn, who is the long snapper, a 24-yard return, and last week it was special teams that bit Kansas City and Jacksonville. It's the Chiefs with the ball and with the lead.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Ford, IBM, and by Norelco.
39-yard line.
After a San Diego punt, the Chiefs have it. Rain continues to fall, although not as hard right now here at Arrowhead. Kansas City's 2nd possession. They're at their own 39 with the 1st down and 10 with Bennett and Anders in the backfield. And Rich Gannon taking the place of the injured Elvis Gerbach will hand off to Donnell Bennett. The guy over the last couple years has played in back of Greg Hill and Marcus Allen, but came on strong at the end of '97. And they said, all right, you've convinced us, so they got rid of Hill. Marcus retired. They switched him from fullback to halfback, and he lost 18 pounds, and here he starts in '98.
And Marty is happy with Donnell Bennett. He's not as happy with everything that goes on that sideline, though. Marty is into everything. This is one of those hands-on coaches, not just a play defense, of course, at Pitt, and he's a defensive guy, but he knows what's going on special teams and offense.
As does his brother Kurt Schottenheimer, who's on this staff. 2nd down and 9 from the 40. Anders in motion, little flip pass underneath, caught by the tight end Gonzalez. A foot race with Dumas and brought down after a 1st down gain to the 48-yard line. It's a pickup at 12, and again Dumas with the San Diego tackle.
Well, what happened right there is that Junior Seau disappears. Look at right in the middle of the field. He runs you straight up. There's nobody in the middle. They give that up. This is one of those defenses where they say we're going to give them one part of the field. We're going to assume that they either won't recognize it, we'll get to them too quick, or maybe they won't have anybody running a route in that area. You take a little bit of a gamble. It backfired on them that time.
You like Gonzalez?
Gonzalez is a player that is, number one, he's just going to get better and better. He's a basketball player. Played at Cal, as we mentioned earlier. So he's got to learn to be more physical as time goes on.
Well, you said earlier he exposes his chest. What do you mean by that?
Well, we were talking to Lou Bush last night. He said when he comes off the ball, he'll show his chest, show his numbers, gives the defensive linebacker, Lou Bush, a chance to jam him. He'll get better as time goes on. They split him out. You see him right now. He's wide. Then he comes in and shifts. They're trying to get him loose.
So Gonzalez gets the pass on 1st down, and here's on 2nd down, and here's a 1st down run by Donnell Bennett, and a gain of 3 right there. And the tackle made by Norman Ann. There are a lot of backup quarterbacks starting in the NFL this week.
You have to have 2 quarterbacks to win in this league. As you can see, this is week 3, and this many backup quarterbacks are playing in the NFL. And that number is going to grow. It isn't going to decrease as time goes on, because quarterbacks get hit. They may not get hit before they let go of the ball, but they get hit a lot after the ball is, after the ball is thrown.
And actually, just moments ago, Jim Nantz showed us Vinny Testaverde, who started today but was the backup to Glenn Foley with the 0-2 Jets.
Yep.
Second down, 7. Chiefs on top 3-0. We're in the first quarter from Kansas City. Little sidearm throw, little dart thrown down to Gonzalez. He picks up 4, which will set up 3rd down and 2. The tackle made by Kurt Gavea, longtime Redskin linebacker, 3rd year now in San Diego.
He was hurt last year, and you know that when he was out of the game, Coach Gilbride told us they would run on us. And then as soon as we lost a defensive back, that being let me think
Harper?
who it was. Yeah, Dwayne Harper. Then they started to throw on us. So Gavea's back. He's that run defender. He's really all over Tony that time. But the ball is thrown so quick and so short, you're going to complete those passes. Really, they'll give you those along the way. They don't want you to complete the big stuff.
Former high school quarterback in the state of Hawaii. 3rd down, 3. 2 tight ends for Kansas City. One of which Gonzalez is in motion, and the other, Ted Popson, jumps off sides.
That is not the result of a backup quarterback.
False start. Offense. 48. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
You sound like you speak from experience.
Well, I've been a backup everything all my life, so I know that. But, you know, the argument all the time is that a new quarterback, different cadence, you don't get in the same sync with it. This guy's been practicing with him as a starter really for 2 weeks. He's played all but 2 quarters this year for the Kansas City Chiefs, and he's been a starter off and on all his career. So this is not a wrinkle that the rest of the team has to account for.
And he's got Andre Rison today, something he did not have last week and for the last 2 quarters in the opener against Oakland. Here's a 3rd and 8 for Gannon. The blitz is on. Good block by Anders. There goes Gannon to the 40 for a first down, and he slides to the first down at the 39. Gerald Dixon with the tackle. A 9-yard run by Gannon coming on the heels of an 11-yard run the first time they had it, which set up a field goal.
Boy, do I love this about a quarterback. This dimension right here adds so much. Nothing's happening. Just tucks the ball, and he's got the ability to run. The protection was good. If you notice, the blockers let everybody rush on by right here. Now look right in there. Look at Kimball Anders made the key block along with the rest of the offensive line. The quarterback has to help out. He helps out by stepping up in the pocket. Don't roll left or right.
Approaching 5 minutes to play here in the first quarter. 2 tight ends again for Kansas City. The rain has let up just a bit, and a first down for Gannon. He gets time, being chased by Norman Hand, also by Seau, and the 2 are at his heels as Gannon rushes for 2 yards down to the 36-yard line. And again, it was Junior Seau, the 7-time Pro Bowler from USC, in pursuit.
Let me tell you something. Here's a backup quarterback that did a smart thing that other backup quarterbacks might not do. He rolls to his right. Ted Popson was actually open running back to his left, but he would have had to throw the ball all the way across the field while rolling to the right, throw back to the left. Every coach in the National Football League says never do it. He tucked the ball and got what he could. A young backup might have tried it.
But he's very athletic, as I mentioned before. He initially was drafted into the NFL by New England as a safety. 2nd down and 8. Anders and Bennett in the backfield. And he's hit. But he got the ball away somehow to Kimball Anders. He gets a block downfield from Kevin Lockett. He's tackled by Charles Dimry, but not after a gain of 17. I don't know how he got that ball away, but the Chiefs are at the Charger 19 after a 17-yard pickup.
Well, you get this away with things that the coach didn't work on during practice all week long. Look at this, just a shovel. That's a shot put's what that is. Jeff Criswell made a key block for him. And really, it looks like Jeff is a little bit injured right there. He's on one knee. The trainers are going to come out and talk to him. But, you know, when he gets downfield, Kevin Lockett made a key block, 6 feet, 183 pounds. All that Marty Schottenheimer wanted to talk about with his receiving corps last night was Kevin Lockett.
Their starting left tackle is shaken up. Chiefs on the move and up by 3. Criswell walked off under his own power. Marcus Spears will take his place at left tackle there inside what Schottenheimer calls the gold zone. Not the red zone, the gold zone.
Gold zone's inside the 20-yard line. They moved practice up so they could work on it on Wednesday extra hard. They've only scored 2 touchdowns and 8 tries, though, after today. Already scored once today. There were 2 and 7 coming into it.
And they've been great inside the gold zone last couple years. It's a first down run, and it goes to Donnell Bennett. And he plows his way in the muck inside the 15, and perhaps he picks up 5 yards with the tackle made by Norman Hand.
Lynn Parker and Tim Grunhard make this play happen right here. You know, if you've got about 3 yards of open room, you can get a good running start. Right, look at the opening on the left side. Just solid straight ahead, downhill running. And Lou Bush told us last night that's the kind of running that Donnell Bennett likes to do. Got another injury on the field. This is Rodney Harrison this time is down.
A guy they cannot afford to lose. Injury timeout in Kansas City. Chiefs are inside the 15 of San Diego, leading 3-0 late first quarter.
And time of possession is going to mount up against the defense of the San Diego Chargers right here. They've been on the field over 8 minutes so far in this ball game. And I can tell you, on a wet field, as good a job as your friend Andre Bruce does on this field, and it is a beautiful field.
He does a great job.
It's a little soft, and it wears on your legs. It's like running on the beach. You know, you get a little bit more tired. Your muscles have to work a little harder to keep your footing. It'll wear down a defense that's on the field too long.
It's right now Gannon facing 2nd down 5. 9th play of the drive inside the Charger 15. Pops in the tight end is in motion. Hand off to Bennett. Got a block from Grunhard. Then Grunhard falls, and so too does Bennett. And there's nothing up the middle. And who is Junior Seau, who plugged it, perhaps a gain of a yard, and Seau, who loves Chiefs Week. I got the feeling, talking with both Kansas City and San Diego, that the Chargers certainly point to this game every year on their schedule.
You know, they kept talking about this being the big rivalry for the San Diego Chargers, that they were being ridiculed maybe a little bit, that they were being called the great pretenders coming in here by the Kansas City. Of course, we couldn't find out who those were.
Right.
It was grapevine stuff. I'm not sure Kansas City considers San Diego quite the rivalry that San Diego considers the Kansas City Chiefs right now, but the Chiefs are the big winners over the years, and they've become the rivals.
3rd down and 5 from the Charger 14. Good time for Gannon, going to the end zone, looking for Rison, broken up beautifully by Terrence Shaw. He did it last week in Nashville against Yancey Thigpen, does it right here against the great Andre Rison, incomplete.
And Marty Schottenheimer mentioned they really missed Andre Rison in this goal zone. Most teams call it the red zone, inside the 20-yard line, because he's the guy that they would go to in this area. Terrence Shaw a year ago was the guy that everybody picked on because he was opposite Harper. This year he hasn't had as many tries to do what he's doing right here. Maybe that'll keep him away another few minutes here because he was right in position.
So the Chiefs will have to settle for a 3-point try again. Stoyanovich has already hit from 35 today, this from 32. Hold will be by Aguiar, a little bit to the side, and the kick is away, and it's good once again. Stoyo automatic, this time from 32 yards away. And the leading kicker in the NFL, the leading scorer in the league, puts the Chiefs on top 6-0. He just, by that right there, goes over 1,000 points for his career, one of 25 guys ever to do it. Stoyanovich just kicked the field goal, and here's the kickoff by Aguiar, retrieved at the 35-yard line by an upback on
it is.
From the 35 with a couple tight ends. San Diego down by 2 field goals. 1st down and 10 yards to go. And Leaf gives it off with a Burke block to Means, who grinds his way to the 36 and can only get a meager yard. As you can see, Simmons, 56, one of the emotional leaders on that defense, a guy that the Chiefs traded for mid last season with Green Bay to get.
Yeah, his nickname is Godzilla. He gives that Godzilla look, and the players like to have a little fun with him that way. And he made the comment, he said, you know, we got a lot of guys hurt. We're just going to have to hold on with the guys we've got until the rest of the troops come back, and they're certainly doing it.
3 wide receivers for San Diego, a 2nd down and 9 from the 36. Here comes Thomas, ball batted away by Bart. It's inside and loose and recovered by the Kansas City Chiefs. That looked like he was throwing the ball. So is it a batted ball? They're going to say it's Kansas City's.
I'm gonna tell you, the replay may show this to be an incomplete pass.
Sure.
Quick jump by Derek Thomas coming around the corner. Ball is going forward. It's clearly a pass. Clearly a pass. That's an incompletion. You know, the instant replay that was studied a little bit in the pre. Ball is going forward. It looks to be going forward there, Kevin. I guess there's a little bit of an argument that can be made there, but I think that the ball was going forward. It then touched the ground. That's an incomplete pass. San Diego is arguing their case hard. Kevin Gilbride is going crazy on the sideline. You've got an argument, Kevin.
It was a pass.
It was a pass. And boy, on the road to have 2 fumbles now given up, putting Kansas City in field position for the 2nd time today.
They began earlier at the San Diego 40 on a Leaf fumble. On this fumble, they're at the 25 of the Chargers. Anders and Bennett in the backfield, and Gannon goes right to work. Criswell back in at tackle, dumps it off. Donnell Bennett gets a block, being chased by Hand, and he's out of bounds, getting a 1st down to the Kansas City 11-yard line. It's a gain of 13. Norman Hand made the tackle.
Actually, Junior Seau's the only guy that reads this. This is a screen. Now, excuse me, we're going to look at that fumble. Let's see if his arm's going forward. It's back. It's going forward. That's clearly a pass.
But it looked like maybe even Derek Thomas got him on the back of the passing hand and forced his hand forward. Now, I don't know how you call that.
Well, your arm, you know, the barrel doesn't stay back very long. It's going forward quickly. Leslie O'Neal batted the ball. It fell harmlessly to the ground. I think in review on Monday or Tuesday when it won't count, they'll say that was an incomplete pass.
Right now, Kansas City's got it at the 12 of the Chargers, leading 6-0 with the 1st and 10. In the end zone, looking for Gonzalez. Incomplete. The coverage applied by Rodney Harrison. It'll be 2nd down.
Second time they've gone to Gonzalez in the right corner, and one time they went to him, same play, going to the left corner right here. Protection's holding up. Victor Riley doing a good job at right tackle, by the way, as we watch this one. Ball's just off the mark a little bit. You try to put that ball right over the pylon. That little orange piece of foam in the corner, just drop the ball right there and make the receiver run to that spot, turn around and find the ball.
Again, they're inside the gold zone. They've been in twice today, and they've had to settle for 3 points each time.
Big concern for Marty Schottenheimer.
They got Donnell Bennett in motion. Andrews remains the lone back. 2nd down and 10. And a 3-time Pro Bowler Andrews has to struggle to get outside. Great play turned in by Rodney Harrison, who has had a Pro Bowl caliber season already after an equally good season last year in '97.
Boy, he's all energy. He already has 4 sacks. Now, this is a safety. He's got 4 sacks already. Led the team in tackles a year ago with 132 tackles, and he plays safety.
Loss of 3 on the play.
I like this young secondary of the Chargers.
They play well together, even though Charles Demery is in there in place of Dwayne Harper. Terrence Shaw does a solid job at the corner, and then Dumas and Harrison. I don't know that anybody's got a better. There's some that maybe can claim they can match that, but nobody's got a better duo inside.
3rd down and 15. Play clock was at 5, but the big clock is down to 0.
First quarter.
First quarter is history in Kansas City. That's the end of the first quarter with the score of the Chiefs on 2 Stoyanovich field goals, up 6-0 on the Chargers. We'll return to Arrowhead Stadium after this as you're watching the NFL on CBS. Back at Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City with Sam Weish, Kevin Harlan. Second quarter starting. First quarter produced just 1 yard for Gilbride, San Diego Chargers.
Yeah, a little misleading because of the turnovers. 1 turnover questionable, looked like an incomplete pass. They called it a fumble. The result, Kansas City back in that goal zone again.
And 3rd and 15 from the Chargers 17. 3 wide receivers. Again in the short drop, again into the end zone, looking for Rison, incomplete, and he was covered again by Terrence Shaw. The coverage is there. The pass was wide and errant. They're going to have to settle for 3 again, and they cannot get the touchdown once they're in that gold zone.
I wonder if Rich Gannon's having trouble holding on to the ball because he has been throwing a lot of short passes. His longer throws, though, have not been on target. These throws are not thrown to a receiver. They're thrown to a spot on the field. The receiver's either going to speed up or slow down, try to box out the defender to make that quarterback's throw look good. But when you throw him out of bounds, you can't help him.
What this tells me is San Diego's defense is here to play this afternoon.
Yep. Usually low-scoring games between these two teams.
This will be a 33-yard try by Stoyanovich, who is connected from 35 and 31, and here he knocks it in from 33 yards away. 3 Pete Stoyanovich field goals as the Chiefs again cash in on a controversial San Diego fumble. We're early in the second quarter. It's Kansas City by 9. 37-30 Central right here after Cosby on CBS. Kickoff by Aguiar, picked up by Tremaine Stevens, a reserve running back who is belted hard at the 20-yard line. Coming up and whacked on the play by Kansas City special teams. Greg Favors, who's a rookie out of there. And here's the NASDAQ halftime coming up next with Jim Nantz, Marcus Allen, Brent Jones, George Seifert. Scores and highlights, plus Phil Simms and Greg Gumbel will preview the Broncos and Raiders game, all coming up on the NASDAQ halftime report. In rainy Kansas City, it is 9-0 the Chiefs.
Good coverage that time. They've had a lot of problems last week with kickoff and punt returns. Joe Horn was the big hit on that last one.
On the 20-yard line, Leaf, who has turned it over twice with a 1st down and 10. Crowd revving up, and a fake handoff to Means, and Leaf going deep, and he's got Still, and Carter makes the grab. Intercepted by Dale Carter, who gets a great block. Ahead of him is Hasty, and Dale Carter with the interception. That's his first of the year, a return of 23 yards.
Now Dale Carter plays corner, but he's slumped back into the middle. The deep throw down the middle Ryan Leaf, young quarterback, didn't find the safety, who turned out to be Dale Carter. Good play action, going straight down the middle now. Look at Dale Carter, turns quickly with Brian Still. The ball's just underthrown, and when you're a young quarterback, you get a guy that looks to be wide open, you baby it a little bit. You just you draw the string on it's the term that's used, and you don't let it fly and let that receiver run to the ball. The result, an interception.
So Dale Carter, a 4-time Pro Bowler. He and Hasty are Pro Bowl cornerbacks for the Chiefs. And Leaf has turned it over 3 times, fumbling twice, intercepted right there.
Something he didn't do last week now. This is reverting back to a bad trait.
On the Charger 41, it's a handoff to Anders. He runs into his own blocker, the rookie Victor Riley, and goes no place. Riley could not clear anyone out. Riley is there because Glenn Parker has moved to left guard because David Zott is injured. That time, he picks up nothing. Loses 3, second down, 13 upcoming.
Real happy with Victor Riley, though. Here's a rookie that had to step in and play the end of the line. You know, that's the toughest spot. Many times at right tackle, you'll have a tight end with you because most teams are right-handed. But when he's not there, you're at the end of the line, and you got to protect that quarterback. 321 pounds. All you have to do is kind of just stand there for a while, though, right? I mean, it takes a long time to get around that.
He steps on the scale, and it says, come back when you're alone. Second down and 13. Hit is Gannon, escapes there, being chased again, tried to throw it, and the ball just slipped right out of his hands. He was being pursued by rookie Jamal Williams. He was looking for Tony Gonzalez, and it's an incomplete play, so it's 3rd and 13.
Just as much forward motion here as Ryan Leaf had on what was called a fumble earlier. The ball can get slick. Now, the worst part of the ball to get slick is where your thumb is. You've only got one finger holding, or one appendage holding the ball there, and when the bottom of the ball is slick, it'll pop loose from you. It doesn't matter how many fingers you've got on top with a good grip. You just can't muscle the ball out there. Remember, a ball's thrown with a tight spiral, and you got to flip your wrist. You got to snap your wrist. And you got to hold on to it with your thumb. But see where the ball's laying? That's where the wet spot is and where your thumb drops.
3rd and 13. 5 DBs for the Chargers. Gannon breaks the tackle of Ray Lee Johnson. Throws deep. He's got Risen. Touchdown!
Looks like Andre Rison may have aggravated that hamstring a little bit on that play. They've been missing this guy, and that's why right there. But it looked like he may not be back there, for a little while. They're going to give him a long look before they put him back in.
He's played 3 quarters, and he has 2 long touchdown grabs at a 30-yarder against the Raiders at a 44-1 moments ago. And Stoyanovich puts it through.
Junior Seau has a chance to make the big play right here, but Rich Gannon escapes. Good blocking up front. And Andre Rison, back from an injury, gets open for the big touchdown.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Pontiac, Nike, and by Microsoft.
Andre Rison just hauled in a 44-yard touchdown pass from Rich Gannon. 16-0 the Chiefs, who have scored on every possession today.
Well, they've had 24 plays the Kansas City Chiefs have, 22 of them inside San Diego territory. Pretty good field position.
Louis Aguiar only going back 6 yards on his run up to kick it off.
Almost like an extra point or a field goal. Real easy to time that up if you're a cover guy.
And Stevens will take it out from 3 yards deep in the end zone. A block from Rashal, and he slips, and down he is spun at the 11-yard line for San Diego. So the Chiefs special teams, 3 turnovers by Leaf, a couple fumbles. He was picked off the last possession by Dale Carter. Very tough for a young quarterback to come in this situation with this kind of crowd.
Well, it's going to get loud right now. What they need to do is just control the ball a little bit and get a score before they go into halftime. Just worry about the winning the ball game in the second half. Don't try to get it all back now.
On their 13, the worst beginning field position today. And the handoff. Natron Means plows his way for 3. Tackle made by John Browning, who's been out for a couple games.
Well, it's week 3. It must be bye week somewhere around the NFL. And already, you know, I think it's a real disadvantage to have a bye week this early. Atlanta, New Orleans, 2-0, matching San Francisco. Nobody thought that was going to be the case, and their momentum is chopped right in half.
As a coach, you don't want to see it week 3, your team laying down.
No, you don't. And really later on, when you really need it, you're going to be grinding it out. Everybody else is going to get a bye week.
2nd down and 7 from the 16. And off to Means again. They want to get some breathing space, and that's exactly what Means gets him as he tumbles ahead for the first down. Tackle made by Jerome Woods. It's a gain of 10. That is the first down for the Chargers today.
This is the cutback. Now, this is really just a draw. You see him wait on the ball. The quarterback brought the ball back to Natron Means right here. Dale Carter coming across to try to finish off to make sure that the cutback run. On the backside, you have to have some contain. It wasn't there that time for the Chiefs.
Now with a little breathing space with a couple tight ends from the 26. 1st and 10 for the Chargers, who trails 16-0. Rain continues to fall. It's Means. There's a block from Burke, and he again lumbers ahead for a gain of 12, and that comes on the heels of a gain of 10. Another first down. Jerome Woods with another tackle.
Raleigh McKenzie and Vaughn Parker, the right guard and the right tackle for the San Diego Chargers. Look at number 63, Raleigh McKenzie, peeling around, leading the blocking. Solid block right there at the end. He still gets a few more because he falls forward on Natron Means does.
This game reminds me of a game here in 1994. Jerome Bettis was playing with the Rams, and the Rams beat Kansas City, but they just gave it on a day like this to Bettis time after time after time.
Well, they want to control the ball now and give that defense a rest for San Diego.
It's 1st and 10 from the 38. Here's Means running into his own blocking and can't find any room. Ran into center Roman Fortin, and Wayne Simmons finally brings him down, and Donnie Edwards is at the bottom of the pile, 59. They think Edwards is going to be a star in the NFL.
Well, I do too. I think he's a big-time player, but on that particular play, Vaughn Parker just buried him coming in there. And really what Donnie Edwards did a good job, and the whole defense did. They forced Natron Means back into the middle where the help was, but Vaughn Parker didn't care. He was doing his job, and there was what you call a pancake on that last play.
2nd down and 10. Risen questionable for the rest of the day, straining his left hamstring. Leaf, 5th consecutive carry by Means, who is met by Reggie Tung, who led the secondary in tackles for the Gators. Next week, college football doubleheader on CBS.
You know, college football is getting more and more wide open. A lot of good quarterbacks highly rated for this year's draft coming out of college this year.
What about that great game last night on CBS?
Terrific.
Tennessee beating Florida 3rd and 4. The rush was on from Derek Thomas. The throw is at the feet of running back Terrell Fletcher. And the Chargers has showed a little bit of life for the first time today offensively after punt the ball.
Well, there was no chance here for Ryan Leaf. Derek Thomas is right around the corner. Vaughn Parker didn't get his right angle. You've got to drop back quick. Your right foot, if you're the right tackle, has to get a quick, deep drop to beat a guy like Derek Thomas. Ryan Leaf actually showed some poise there. Just threw the ball away. We'll come back next time if you're a San Diego Charger fan.
Darren Bennett to punt for the 2nd time today for the Chargers. Deep back to Marek Vanover, who beat the Chargers one time with the return on a punt late in the game. And here's the punt to Vanover, and it's fair caught back at the 15-yard line. That's a 41-yard punt, so Bennett does his job.
You know, I think a punter does his job when he can cause the fair catch.
It's 16-0 the Chiefs. Rainy Arrowhead Stadium. The Chiefs begin it. They've scored on every possession today. We're in the 2nd quarter. A 16-0 lead. Gannon has thrown a touchdown pass. Andre Rison caught that, but left the game, and Kevin Lockett has taken his place. So the Chiefs from the 14, 1st and 10. And a handoff goes to Bennett, who climbs for perhaps a yard. You know, Sam, what is so interesting about Kansas City, no team has stayed so good for so long with so many different quarterbacks. Steve DeBerg, when Schottenheimer took over, then David Craig, then Joe Montana, then Steve Bono, Elvis Gerbach, and today Rich Gannon. But look at the other great teams of the 90s. Elway in Denver, Aikman in Dallas, Brett Favre up in Green Bay with Mikowski before that, Bledsoe in New England, Marino in Miami.
It's very unusual to be moving different quarterbacks in and out and stay playing as well as Kansas City does. It's a tribute to the system.
2nd and 9. The rush from Perella. He dumps it off beneath the coverage, and Anders can't get a hold on it. It's amazing. While those other teams have stayed basically with the same guy. The Chiefs have had a litany of quarterbacks come through here, but like you said, they have stayed at one of the elite levels in the league.
Well, a couple of things going on there. Number one, you've got a system. You're bringing a quarterback into a system where everybody else is already there and knows what's going on, so he's not trying to carry the load every time. And you're getting good players replacing other good players. You know, that's Carl Peterson as well as Marty Schottenheimer. You've got a backlog of players ready to go. They keep players for the future. They don't just have a year where everybody is gone.
3 wide receivers, 5 Charger defensive backs, nickel formation. 3rd down and 9 for Gannon, throwing high and through the hands of Danon Hughes. Normally returns punts, and Hughes couldn't get that right through his hands, and 3 and out for the Chiefs for the first time today.
Just a high throw. When you go to your left, now watch Rich Gannon when he turns to his left to throw the ball. You see how the body swings open like that? You get more stuff on the ball carries a little bit higher. Although it's in the hands of Danon Hughes, he probably thinks walking off the field he should catch those. The ball will fly on you a little bit going to the left.
Louis Aguiar has had 565 consecutive punts without being blocked. Make it 566. Latario Rashal will let that one bounce in front of him and die inside the 35 and down to the 33. So better field position for San Diego to start.
And Kansas City's special teams have recovered from last week's problems with punt returns and kickoff returns. 53-yard punt that time, thanks to the roll.
So let's see if the Chargers can hold on a bit longer as they trail 16-0.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Bud Light and by KFC.
Raining still in Kansas City. It rained about 9 o'clock this morning on varying degrees of rain here in the Kansas City area. 16-0 they lead the Chargers.
Now, they've done a good job of taking away Michael Ricks, a big, tall wide receiver that the Chargers are going to use a lot during this season. Kansas City's just defensively been very strong.
On the 33 with a couple tight ends. 1st down and 10 yards to go for Leaf, who hands off to Means and getting a block from John Jackson and Raleigh McKenzie, and Anthony Davis makes the tackle after a gain of 3. 2nd down and 7.
Up to this point, Kevin Gilbride is doing a good job of letting his team know that I still believe it's time to get back into this ball game. We're going to continue our running and passing balance. We're not going to get excited about trying to get back in the game quickly, especially on the road, because if you try to do something crazy on the road and backfires, this crowd is right back into it.
2nd down and 7. Tight end Freddie Jones adjusting himself. 4-man rush. Ball loose again. Another fumble. And did Kansas City jump on it? Indeed they have. And that is the 4th San Diego turnover in the first half. The 3rd by Leaf. He also threw an interception.
And this was recovered by Tom Barnt. He's played offense and defense. This time he lines up on defense and gets a last shot at the offensive side of the ball, recovering the fumble. And I just think Ryan Leaf is pulling out a little bit early. You know, you've got to, the center anticipates the snap count because of the cadence, the rhythm of the cadence. But as you see, Ryan Leaf at 6'5" stands tall. If he doesn't stay under that center, bend his knees and keep his hands under center, he'll pull away early and that ball just doesn't get back there.
There's a veteran Taylor talking to Leaf. That offensive line has been very instrumental in trying to keep the young quarterback's wits about it.
They've got to do it. Joe Bugle, the offensive line coach, is very conscious of that. Former head coach, he knows you've got to keep the confidence of your quarterback.
Being chased by hand, Gannon flush from the pocket and throws out of bounds down the sideline. Kevin Lockett was there replacing the injured Andre Rison. 4 starts inside San Diego territory for the Chiefs on their 6 possessions today.
Well, you're supposed to be ahead when you get that advantage, and they are. They are big time ahead. San Diego continues to go to their string. Junior Seau again blitzed up the middle. Marty Schottenheimer right now. You got to, if you're a coach and you see your team controlling a game like this on defense, you keep handing the offense an advantage position. Look at the relaxed look. All that sleep he lost all week is paying off.
2nd down and 10 from the Charger 33. Joe Horn, reserve wide receiver in motion. And the reverse Bennett and a fumble as it was handed off to Joe Horn. And the Chargers have jumped on it as Kansas City makes their first turnover today. They fumbled a couple times last week in Jacksonville. John Corrella, the former Nebraska Cornhusker, gets it.
Just when it's safe to go back into the goal zone, they run a reverse. Wet field, ball a little bit tough to handle. Remember, you got two people now that one, Bennett's not used to handing the ball off. Joe Horn not used to taking a handoff, and you make a mistake. There was an opening. Had they made that handoff clean, there was plenty of room to run on the outside. Sometimes when you try that trick play, you have to live with the results. They don't always work.
Rain is falling. Derek Thomas wants his crowd to get alive again, and it can get loud here. Leaf, the rookie quarterback, with 4 turnovers that he himself has committed today from his own 41. Fake handoff, little play action, Browning up the middle. Good block by Fortin, and a pickoff. James Hasty. Second time Leaf has been picked off today. Hasty, who's got sub 4.4 speed, takes it out to the 46. It's a return of 23 yards. It's the 5th turnover for Leaf. It has been a nightmare on a rainy, gloomy day in Kansas City for Kevin Gilbride's Chargers.
Well, on the play before, Kansas City stepped out of character on the reverse. It backfired, but San Diego did what I mentioned earlier. They decided they were going to go for the big home run, and the result, of course, is John Hasty's interception. Natron Means makes the tackle down the way here, but what you wanted to happen if you're a San Diego fan right there was Kansas City makes a mistake. We capitalize on it, regain a little bit of our confidence. But instead, the interception, and here comes the rain again.
Rain, and here comes Kansas City again with Popson in motion from the 46, 1st and 10. And Bennett, safe handoff, and he's out near midfield before Junior Seau, 55, hits him. And for Leaf, what do you tell a young quarterback who's turned it over in less than a half 5 times?
So the first thing you don't tell him is, man, you turned the ball over 5 times. He knows that he has messed up here. He's a competitor. He played a lot of football. He's won a lot of games. The thing that he needs right now is, all right, how do I correct that mistake? What am I doing wrong? Somebody needs to say to him, you're pulling out early. Stay under that center. Get over here with the ball in the center, and y'all take some snaps on the sideline.
2nd down, 6 from midfield. Donnell Bennett, and he's up the middle. And he gains 5. Sometimes you'll see Bennett on the sideline gasping for air. He's asthmatic, and he has the steroid inhaler that he has with the medical staff of the Chiefs on the sideline. But he says, you know, I use it every once in a while, but not all that often.
All right, not as much as Terrell Davis does up in Denver, I don't think.
An eligible receiver, number 70.
Short yardage play. You got a short yardage offense. Number 70 comes back into the ball game.
Marcus Spears.
Yep, as he does on all short yardage goal line situations.
Jerome Bettis is an asthmatic as well. He has the same thing that Bennett. And
yep.
A lot of players in the NFL will use. 3rd down and 1. 2 tight end set. Gonzalez is in motion. And Bennett again. Stuck. Seau. And it's going to be close. I think he's a yard shy as he gets as far as the Charger 45.
Both officials on each side of the ball are marking it dead on the 45-yard line. That's not enough for the first down. Kansas City, after the mistake on the reverse, has gone back to 3 straight-ahead plays. Marty Schottenheimer says, let's go for it. We're better than those guys over there. He's got just about a full yard there, though, Kevin. This is not inches to go. I wonder if Carl Peterson was making a phone call down there telling him to go. What do you think?
On a play similar to this in the first quarter, Gannon on 4th and 2 at the fake and went out on the side and got 11 yards and eventually led to a field goal.
Right. That should soften up the inside for this play right here.
Good point. 4th down and 1 from the Charger 45. And somebody moved, and there goes the flag. The question now was he induced?
Yep, or did the 42nd run out? Of course, we're joking with Carl Peterson. He's going to join us here in just a minute. I wanted to make sure I got one shot just below the belt before he got in.
Offense.
We were talking about how well the Chiefs have done over the years. They keep getting good players to take the place of players that give in to age or injury.
Delay offense, 5-yard penalty.
And of course that speaks right to the organization and the work that Carl Peterson does. And we're going to talk to him about lots of subjects. I know you've got politics, everything.
Politics?
Right? I don't know. I'm just.
Well, they've had a great succession of people under him, too. Whitey Duvall, Mark Cantley now at the Chicago Bears. Terry Bradway right now. And there's another flag thrown as Aguiar was setting to bunt. And the referee is Dick Hantek, who's a little bit wet this afternoon.
False start. Offense, 84. 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
You know, it looks like things have happened quickly against both sides. attention span starts to it wanes a little bit. You start to give in a little bit to what you think is happening in the ball game. The game's got a rhythm to it, and it's all Kansas City.
What would you tell your players when you were in that kind of situation?
In a loud voice, I tell them to wake up.
Want to demonstrate that for us?
Yeah, with a like a McEnroe backhand across the face of a couple of them if I could get inside that helmet.
Setting up the return, Aguiar and Latario Rachal will let it bounce, and it takes a good San Diego bounce to the side. 5:17 left in the rainy second quarter in Kansas City. Coming up on the NASDAQ halftime report, Jim Nantz, Marcus Allen, a former Chief, Brent Jones, George Seifert, all give you the scores and highlights. And then we'll go out to the Phil Simms Greg Gumbel team. They'll preview the Denver Broncos against the Raiders. All coming up next on the NASDAQ halftime report from our CBS studios in New York.
John Gruden has definitely put a stamp on that Oakland Raider. They look like a different football team, but they still make too many mistakes. Denver, however, is such a strong football team. The AFC has got more balance this year among their better teams.
Handoff goes to Natron Means, and he takes a pile with him before Pelham McDaniels jumps on his back, and Reggie Tongue from the secondary.
He was tackled by Reggie Tongue.
2nd down and 6. It is. You can sense the lull here in the stadium.
It's a little harder.
And what does a team tell a young rookie quarterback who's turned it over 5 times in the first half?
Well, the less conversation from the teammates, the better, probably. He doesn't need more conversation. He doesn't need a lecture at this point. What he needs is a look of confidence from his teammates, and that just comes with the glance.
2nd down and 6, and the Chargers at their own 24. Hand off to Means. There's a hole. A great block by the young rookie wide receiver Ricks. A late flag is thrown at the 29 as Means chugs ahead. Tackle made by Reggie Tongue after a gain of 14 yards.
That's the other thing you do is you give the ball to somebody else. Take the pressure off the quarterback. Don't make him have to make a play.
Illegal hands to the face, defense, number 58, 5-yard penalty, 1st down.
Kansas City now has made a couple of uncharacteristic mistakes, especially playing at home against a team that they're dominating in just about every area. The defense of San Diego has done almost a Herculean job, though, given the field position.
1st and 10, a little breathing space out to the Charger 44. They're trailing 16-0. Flag thrown. Means got the call. They blow that play dead in mid-motion.
False start, offense, 83, 5-yard penalty, still 1st down.
Now they're just taking turns, making mistakes right here. And really, this is attention span. This is concentration. This is focus. This is all the buzzwords that the players keep hearing from the coaches. There aren't just buzzwords. They're principles of the game. You have to concentrate. You've got to make sure that what's going on at that moment is in the front of your mind and your job and how you're going to react to what happens after the ball snap.
Means and Burke in the backfield. Penalty pushes it back 5 yards. 1st and 15 with a double tight ends. On the Charger 38. Means the call. Burke the block. Somehow slithers for a gain of 5. Or the tackle is made by outside linebacker Anthony Davis.
Natron Means is just carrying the load for them right now. Take a little pressure off of Ryan Leaf. Let him build up some yardage, pound away at that Kansas City defense. Give the defense of the San Diego Chargers some time. 63 yards already today on 12 tries. If you can carry the ball and average just under 6 yards a carry, that's worth another try.
Initially drafted by the Chargers, got crossways with Bobby Ross following a couple years after the Super Bowl. Went to Jacksonville. They let him go. Thought about coming to Kansas City and Chicago. Re-signed with his old Chargers as Leaf gets it high. Uncatchable pass to Freddie Jones, the tight end. He was open, too, on the flat.
He was. Now, get your head up, Ryan Leaf. That's one thing you hate to see. Now the quarterback himself is starting to second-guess at least that one play. Now, watch. It's a 3-step drop. 1, 2, 3, quick. He looks inside, not there. Lay the ball to the secondary receiver, and the ball just flies out of his hand. Part of the reason that it did was that John Browning was getting enough penetration that he had to release the ball high. But then when the quarterback drops his head, you know that he's talking to himself. The problem with that is your teammates see your head down. They want to see your head up as the quarterback.
It's tough. 22 years old and faced with all this.
Listen, he's got a bright future. He's just having a tough day.
3rd down and 10, 3 wide receivers. Leaf completed his first pass. He's missed his last 5. And that one is dropped by receiver Webster Slaughter, a former Kansas City Chief player, longtime Cleveland Brown and the Jets, and he throws that away, and Leaf is incomplete. Coverage by Dale Carter, and the Chargers have got a punt.
Webster Slaughter's upset because he thought Dale Carter got there a little bit early. Quick pressure on Ryan Leaf, gets the ball away. Webster Slaughter ought to be upset. I think probably that's what he is, just because he dropped the ball. That's it. But look at Dale Carter on the rush, all in the face of Ryan Leaf.
Darren Bennett gets it away. It was almost blocked on the play by Greg Favors, a good-looking rookie for Mississippi State, and downfield. Tamarick Vanover retrieves the punt at the 14-yard line. 43-yard punt.
33 yards on the punt for return.
Penalty flag thrown on the play.
You know, as a coach, you saw Kevin Gilbride on the sideline right there. All you can do is stand there and watch your team. When they start making these kind of careless mistakes, there's nothing you can do for them. You've worked with them all week.
Ineligible, number 51, downfield prior to the punt. 5-yard penalty. Repeat the down. 4th down.
Paul Brown used to tell me when I was coaching, he says, Sam, coaching, as he remembers it, was it was like standing on the sideline with your hands tied behind your back and somebody slapping you across the face. You could see the slap coming, but there's nothing you could do about it. You could see the penalty, the offside, the mistake. At that point, you've worked with them all week, and you got to send them out just like you do your kids, you know, after you raise them, and hope they do the right thing.
So that's why you're hitting me all the time in the booth during your games.
That's part of the reason. I don't care for you
Figure
much.
that
Actually, is another part.
I'm very well aware of that. Vanover is back. Favors almost got it again. Another flag is thrown. Vanover under it with the fair catch at the 28. But the penalty flag's back where Bennett of San Diego punted the ball back around the 30. That's a 33-yard punt. Another penalty flag against the Chargers. Boy, when it rains, so to speak, it pours.
Oh, my gosh. Okay.
Well,
Holding.
if the shoe fits. Right?
Offense, number 23, 10-yard penalty. Repeat the down. 4th down.
You know, here's a team that accepted the resignation of special teams coach Frank Novak after week 1. They brought in Wayne Sevier, a storied special teams coach, but they've had a couple gaffes the last 2 weeks on special teams and a bunch today.
Yeah, and we're right back to concentration again. These are mistakes. You know, these are not mistakes of aggression. Sometimes when you're just playing hard and the hand slips up around somebody's face mask, you get a penalty. These are mistakes when you're not playing hard, when you're not giving everything you got. You got to reach out and grab somebody to save the blocked punt.
Rain has lessened a bit. Bennett will punt for a 3rd consecutive time. Favors again coming in. Better block that time. Vanover. It's fun to watch this kid return one, but the hang time is great. Almost 5 seconds on a 47-yard punt. So it'll be at the 24-yard line. And another flag.
Another flag on the far side.
Well, the referee has taken off his hat, as you see, NFL.com. Log on Monday for the highlights of week 3, recaps on NFL.com. When a referee or official takes off his cap, it means a player has gone out of bounds,
right,
and has not come back inbounds.
Well, he also not only took his hat off, but he did throw a flag as well. So let's see, he's got to immediately try to get back inbounds. Let's see what he say here.
During the punt, unnecessary roughness on the receiving team, number 85, will penalize half the distance to the goal line. 1st down.
Well, they obviously had a couple things, I guess. They got the guy back in, but the hat was off, and that's usually what it signals the guy has been out of bounds.
Right, and then a personal foul. He obviously, the official thought he took a shot at number 85. I don't know who that is. There's not an 85 out there on the field right now, so the mystery continues.
Well, it's a former Charger tight end who was picked up by the Chiefs on September 8th, Brian Roach, but he's inactive today.
Right, he's inactive. And I don't think he was standing over there in Jersey either.
I see him down here. He's down on the sideline.
Yeah, got his name mentioned, though.
The eyes of Junior Seau. Anders and Bennett in the backfield. And the Chiefs, who are shutting out San Diego 16-0 to get it 1st down and 10. And the handoff to Donnell Bennett. And he picks up 2 yards. And was hit by Norman Hand. We've got Carl Peterson in our booth, and we're just waiting for a time to get him on camera, but we're going to have to wait till the 2-minute warning, Carl. Hold on for us, and we'll get a chance to visit with the Chiefs president, CEO, and general manager Carl Peterson, who continues to build great team after great team with Marty Schottenheimer and his staff. It goes back to, you know, all these quarterbacks have come through here, but they've stayed the same every year, competitive and in the playoffs.
Well, Carl told me earlier that that's because he has them over to his house on weekends and works with them in the off season. So, you know, It's great that you keep that a secret, though, Carl.
We are at the 2-minute warning. Dismal day for Kevin Gilbride. Welcome back to Kansas City. The Chiefs shutting out the San Diego Chargers 16-0. With us, the president, CEO, and general manager of the Kansas City Chiefs, Carl Peterson. On a rainy day, you've still sold out the house.
Kevin, welcome back. Sam, welcome to Chiefs Arrowhead. We enjoy this, obviously, even with the rain. It's a great football day.
You said you don't like to see the Chargers hanging around at 16-0, though.
No, I don't. They've given us too many opportunities, and we're only up 16-0. You about that, Coach? They're 3 plays away from right in this football game. So hopefully we can change that.
Goes to Donnell Bennett, who is wrapped up by Dumas in the secondary. We were talking before in the first quarter about all the different quarterbacks you've had through this place, yet you've always maintained the high level on all sides.
Well, going back to Ron Jaworski and Steve DeBerg and lots of other guys, Marty's done a great job. The consistency is what we're proud of through the 9.5 years we've been here.
Signing players getting tougher and tougher. You got one right now you're trying to get signed?
Yes, unfortunately, I think players listen too often to agents that are not looking out for their best interests. And the obvious is a guy by the name of Dan Williams that's losing $180,000 a week that he's not here.
Some change. I mean, I don't know.
I'm disappointed. Our football team is, but we got to go on and play, right? You know this, and you line up with what you got, and I think we've got a pretty good defense.
Well, you do. It's hard to understand how a player can, afford to do that, but I guess they think that somewhere down the line they're going to recover. They really don't, though.
They'll never recover the monetary part of it, and the other part is their career. I mean, this is a career year wasted, and you only have so many years in this game. So we'd still like to hear from Dan, if you're out there, Dan. But we're going to go ahead and continue to play, and I'm very proud of our defense, obviously.
After a San Diego timeout, 2nd down for the Chiefs. That ball batted and intercepted, then dropped. Dumas had a hand on it, but couldn't hold on to it, which has been somewhat of a common thread throughout this game. Incomplete on the batted pass. It'll be 3rd down.
Watch this now. It's straight. The ball is batted right. Once that ball's batted, no more interference, no more anything else. Just come in there and make the play and hold on to the football. I guess when you get in a situation like this, the only time that the wet ball may come into play, the ball is not in a true rotation.
Aguiar will punt for the Chiefs again. The rain is coming down about as hard as it has come down all day. And that ball knifing its way through. Latario Rishal back at the 35. Got a block. Breaks a tackle from Tongue. He's by midfield and to the Kansas City 46-yard line and tackled on the play by Robert Williams, a rookie out of Nebraska. We're talking to Carl Peterson, the president, CEO, and general manager of the Chiefs. And I thought one of the oddities of this early season was Tom Coughlin of the Jacksonville Jaguars reportedly showing quote-unquote dirty plays about your Chiefs to their team to let them know what was out there. And this is not the first time other coaches have complained. Mike Shanahan did last year for the Denver Broncos.
Right. Well, I know Marty. We've been together 9.5 years. He doesn't teach or coach that type of football. Sam, I think, was just a coach trying to get his team ready to play against the Chiefs.
Yeah, it's a physical game. That's the way Marty coaches, and that's the way it ought to be taught.
Exactly.
Leaf from the shotgun in the 46, slips, regains his footing, whacked as he threw the ball, and it's incomplete. He was belted up the middle by Leslie O'Neal.
Ryan Leaf going back now. Leslie O'Neal's going to come. Watch right here from the left side. Whack. This is why a quarterback is vulnerable, though. Their arm is up. They're fully exposed. They're not delivering blows. They're taking all the shots. They do wear a flak jacket, a lot of them to protect themselves, which brings up another point. Physical football, but these guys are well equipped. They know how to fall, and they've got good equipment on them.
It's a big, strong quarterback that we're playing against today. We know that.
All right, here is a 2nd down and 10. Rushes on, handoff, Terrell Fletcher, picking and poking his way down near the 40. That'll set up 3rd down and 4. Carl, thank you for stopping by. The thing about Jacksonville, I guess, has been it's kind of out of the ordinary to see other teams do something as public as they did.
Well, I know Marty had a conversation with Kaufman after on Monday. In fact, I was privileged to sit in and listen to him. And Tom said he didn't mean it in that fashion.
Carl Peterson, thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Leaf throwing high and an uncatchable pass aiming for tight end Jones. Freddie Jones couldn't get it, and that picture right there tells the story. Leaf 1 of 9 today.
Ryan Leaf, is is a young quarterback that is now seeing everything that happens in the National Football League. The tough hit that leaves that little sting on your chest, and you have to go back and throw another pass. 4th down and 4. They're going to put more pressure on Ryan Leaf.
Now it is 4th down. 5 to go from the 41. Here they come. He's given good time. He threw over Leslie O'Neal and incomplete, looking for Ricks, and a flag is down. There is a penalty flag across the way at the 43.
It'll be against the San Diego Chargers, though, which means they'll be declined for the incomplete pass. Kansas City doesn't want a penalty now. They want the ball.
Personal foul. Shot block. Number 41 on the offense. Penalty is declined. 1st down, Kansas City.
And the Chargers took a little bit of a gamble right there. You know, it's 6. What Carl Peterson just said, they're hanging around. They haven't been eliminated from this ball game at all. It's 16-0. But they took a chance on 4th down as the half closes in right here. And once again, the Kansas City Chiefs are going to have good field position. So what's new today, huh?
Yeah, and they've had it all day. They've started on at least half of their possessions inside San Diego territory. Here they begin at their own 41.
Actually, the Chargers had the best field position for their offense on the last series and couldn't do anything with it.
3 wide receivers for Gannon from his own 41. The rush from Coleman. Gannon throws over him to Kimball Anders, and there goes a late flag thrown. Anders is the 2nd leading running back receiver in the NFL over the last 5 years, and back of the great Larry Centers at Arizona.
Super play by Junior Seau on that tackle, but Kansas City is going to have a 10-yard penalty, and it'll be interesting whether San Diego takes this penalty. I guess they'll move them on back as the rain now really starts to come down and starting to show up in the footing. You see a lot of guys slipping around, especially the blockers, the offensive blockers there. Cleats aren't holding as those defensive linemen rush, but the defensive line can't get much of a push either.
Illegal block in the back. Offense, 68. 10-yard penalty. Previous spot. Repeat the down. 1st down.
Well, San Diego wants to see if they can't create some field position for themselves by taking that penalty, even though it was incomplete.
1st and 20.
Penalty now makes it 1st and 20. And there have not been any pools of water. This field drains very, very well. They went from AstroTurf to natural grass back in the mid-90s, so it's been here 3, 4, 5 years, and it holds up pretty well. But they played a soccer game on it last night and a football game on it today, and later they've got a college football game coming up, and of course the rest of the regular year.
They're going to sit down on this ball right here. You know, that rain pounding down, it sounds like little pellets of little machine gun fire there. It really doesn't take away your hearing in the huddle, but you're certainly aware. It's like sitting under a tin roof. If you ever sat out in the farmland and watched the cows graze. I guess you've done that, haven't you, Kevin?
Well, I feel like sometimes I'm doing that up here in the booth on Sunday.
You hear that rain coming down, but I'll tell you, the part that bothers players more than anything else, it's not the sound of the rain or the fact that they're just wet, it's their footing. Because that's how you pull a growing muscle, or you twist a knee or an ankle.
So to you, is they're just going to sit on the ball and run out the 2nd quarter clock. To you, one of the most amazing things is with 5 turnovers, they're only down by 16 points.
Well, absolutely. San Diego should be happy that they're going in with a chance to win it in the 2nd half.
That's the end of the 1st half with the score. The Chiefs 16-0 over the Chargers. Stay tuned for all the scores and highlights on the NASDAQ halftime report after this message and a word from your local CBS station.
16-0 is not the deciding factor. Time of possession makes a big difference, as you can see there. Passing yards, though, minus 7 yards for the San Diego Chargers. That's not going to be enough to win. I think the key to this one, though, is time of possession and the fact that the San Diego Chargers were not put away in the 1st half. There's still an opportunity to jump back in this ball game.
Ryan Leaf was 1 of 10 for 4 yards in the 1st half. Completed his first pass, then missed his last 9. Rich Gannon has led the team to the nice 16-0 lead at halftime. And here's the turnover ratio in the NFL through the 90s. A sizable lead for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Well, this is how, we were talking about how they keep winning. They get new quarterbacks. They get all of these things. Part of it is this, and this is the teaching philosophy of Marty Schottenheimer and his staff, and that is your ball hawking, your physical teams create turnovers. Ball players let go of that ball when they know they're going to get hit, and sometimes that seed is planted even before the ball game starts.
Chargers will kick off to begin the second half, and so it'll be a while before we see Ryan Leaf. And you can only imagine what is going through his mind right now. He has fumbled it 3 times and thrown 2 interceptions. And the weather obviously has played some role, but Sam, can you attribute every turnover to the weather?
No, you can't. Well, never use it as an excuse around Ryan Leaf, I can tell you that. But turnovers do occur on wet days, there's no question. But when you pull away from center, you're going to have the fumbles from the exchange, and that's what happened to Ryan Leaf.
John Carney's kickoff is short, caught by Greg Minuski, who is a special teams flyer, sometime linebacker, and he's up to the 31-yard line.
A dream of Greg Minuski to have a chance to run back a kickoff. He's in that wedge. He's usually the guy throwing the blocks, getting no glory. Look at that, got his helmet all dirty. Somebody take a picture of this and have it for his memoirs. Rich Gannon, solid first half. Numbers don't look too good, 5 for 16, but he completed the crucial plays and made some terrific runs and scrambles during the first half.
So the Chiefs, with the rain now holding up from their 31, 1st down and 10. Handoff goes to Donnell Bennett and tripped up around the ankles, it looked like, by Marco Coleman after a gain of 3. 2nd down and 7.
Derek Thomas getting a little bit of a stretch there. You re-tape job. You know, when you play in this wet weather, all that tape, of course, is getting wet. It not only gets heavy, but it does loosen a lot. And you've got to keep the ankles tight.
On this turf, they get the longer cleats as well.
Well, you want to dig into it. This is a natural surface. It's a very good, firm surface. It's not tearing up in chunks, just little pieces.
Rison pulled his hamstring in the first half. Kevin Lockett takes his place. Alexander on the move, 2nd down and 7. And Bennett again, trying to wiggle his way for some room. Picks up perhaps 4, setting up 3rd down and 2.
Just kind of pounding away at this thing right here. A lot of the crowd is left. Some of them are standing up underneath the cover there out of the rain. But this is an advantage for San Diego if they can get back in the ballgame. They're not going to have to battle the full crowd. In fact, really, I would say it looks like about half full right now. They're still here. They're just hiding up underneath the cover right now.
Donnell Bennett, leading rusher on this team, 5 years out of Miami, a 2nd-round pick. Had to bide his time before Greg Hill was let go and Marcus Allen decided to retire.
And paid the price, where you mentioned earlier. Lost a lot of weight so he could play that position.
18 pounds. 3rd down and 3. Bennett finds nothing in the Charger defense, which has really not played that bad today, considering their offense has turned it over 5 times, holds them there, and Kansas City's got a punt.
They really haven't been as effective, you know, in that 3rd and short. Kansas City, though, they give away the ball less times than anybody. The NFL leaders in the 90s have given the ball away. That means fumbles and interceptions, only 181. And look at those numbers jump up as you go down the list.
Light drizzle for Louis Aguiar to punt, and Rashal is deep back. Latario Rashal, who starred as a special teamer last year after playing in the World League, and Rashal wrapped up by Minuski and Favors. 43-yard punt, 7-yard return, flag thrown on the play, back at the 37.
You know, going back to that 3rd down play, short yardage 3rd down play, I think Marcus Allen is a guy that's missed around this team. Goal line and short yardage, he was the guy that they would go to. They haven't been as successful. Kimball Andrews is 0 for 5 when they've given the ball to him. That time they gave it to Donnell Bennett, and he was 0 for 1.
Well, coming in, the Chiefs at only...
Ineligible. Kicking team downfield, number 54. 5-yard penalty. Repeat the down. 4th down.
Greg Favors, a rookie. Coming into the game, the Chiefs had only converted 7 of their 28 3rd down plays this season through 2 games.
There is a, quote, knack for finding and turning your shoulders and slithering in tight holes, and all holes are going to be smaller in short yardage situations. Of course, over the years, Marcus Allen had a reputation, and he backed it up with another good play Sunday after Sunday. Gee, I hope Marcus is listening back in the studio, don't you? We're just throwing in bouquet
It's his
after
old
bouquet.
team. He's listening. Of course he is. Aguiar to punt once again. The wind has not been a factor. It's just been a rainy day. Shaw on a bounce from the 25-yard. Fumbled the ball, and it's loose. And they got the pile. It would appear as though Kansas City has recovered. No referee or umpire or official has given us any kind of indication, but they are signaling that the Chiefs have fallen on the ball. It is the 6th turnover for Gilbride's Chargers.
Tough. It looks like Danon Hughes is the guy coming up with the ball. It pops straight out, just comes flying out of there. Part of that is the weather, I think, or a wet ball right there, because the ball comes out that quick. It just squirts out of there. He really wasn't hit that hard. Danon Hughes, number 83, not only a good receiver, he's a good special teams player, good cover guy. You see Wayne Sevier talking on the sideline over there. There's not much when you turn the ball over like that. That's, although I'm looking at Kevin Gilbride looking at Wayne saying, what kind of an answer was that for the question I asked?
It's not a friendly look.
No, it wasn't.
So again, the Chiefs start in charge of territory from the 37. Bennett and Anders in the backfield. Little play action by Gannon. He'll go deep, and he's got the receiver. It's incomplete, and there goes a flag, and there goes another. As wide receiver Kevin Lockett was covered by Terrence Shaw.
Terrence Shaw just took the arms away of Lockett. Clearly a penalty.
They love this kid Lockett, who was a 2nd-round pick last year out of a record-setting season at K-State.
Defense number 29 in the end zone. By rule, the ball is placed on the 1-yard line. First down.
Kevin Lockett has Shaw beat. Shaw goes up before the ball gets there, rakes his arm down. Whether it's catchable or not, it was close enough. And as soon as Shaw pulls him down, slowing him down some. Actually, that did take away his outreached arms. But they really do. Marty Schottenheimer likes this Kevin Lockett. Kind of likens him to Lynn Swann.
He
so he makes those kind of catches. Pretty big compliment when you throw that name around.
Lockett leaves because they put in another tight end. Alexander is the one receiver. Anders and Bennett in the backfield. And a handoff for a touchdown. And it goes to Richardson. Tony Richardson, who's in that tank package. A former rookie free agent with the Cowboys, and went to their practice squad in Kansas City, plucked him off there and signed him a couple years ago.
If you notice, both lines, offensively and defensively, try to get underneath each other, so their behinds are high, their heads are low. They're trying to dig in to create no movement in the line. It's a muscle play. And then, of course, Tony Richardson goes over the top of both of those head-butting Rams. That's what it really looks like in that situation.
Stoyanovich will try the extra point on the Aguiar hold, and it's been all Kansas City today. So a touchdown pass by Gannon in the first half to Rison. Richardson plows in from a yard right there. All those field goals expels 23-0 Kansas City. Well, that scene tells the story for the Chargers today. 6 turnovers, Chiefs on top, 23-0. They have cashed in on every San Diego turnover today. Aguiar to kick off. Stoyanovich had been doing the kicking off and will do later on, but he's got a bad back. There goes Tremaine Stevens from the 6-yard line for the Chargers. Shaw gets a block. Horn fights through that. And there goes Stevens, and he's out near the 30-yard line. Tackled by Ron George, a special teams performer, formerly of the Vikings. College football on CBS.
Tim Couch, you're looking at a future NFL star in that football player. He shows all the signs, all the poise, plus the skill to be a big-timer. He may be the next Ryan Leaf.
Leaf on 1st and 10. Handoff goes to Means. Not much given up the middle. Picks up 3. Tackle made by Jerome Woods and Derek Thomas.
You're going to see a lot of the Kansas City Chiefs secondary making tackles. Jerome Woods was second on their team with tackles a year ago. Reggie Tung up there with it, the 2 inside safeties. They play a lot of people around the football, and the other thing that happens is they are aggressive. As soon as the ball carrier is cornered, you're going to see secondary people coming after them. That's how they get in those extra tackles.
Woods and Tung right there, the future of the safety corps. 2 tight ends, first down, make it 2nd down on the 32. Means right into Anthony Davis and picks up 3 yards. It'll be 3rd down. You know, there's a draft that Kansas City had back in '96. And in that draft, they got Woods and Tung, Edwards and Browning. Here, a couple of years later, all 4 are starters. That's incredible out of one draft to get that kind of defensive talent. And there's a guy they got with the pick last year, Tony Gonzalez out of Cal.
I think they have 14 or 15 of their draft picks in the last 3 years are playing significantly, either starters or play enough nickel situations to be called important parts of this ball club. That is above average. It's not unheard of, but that's above average around the league.
3rd and 4 from 36. Still is in motion. Leaf is looking that way, and a flag is thrown on the far side as the pass is incomplete for reserve wide receiver Charlie Jones.
James Hasty right in Ryan Leaf's face immediately. Kansas City not letting up at all. They're bringing the house. That time a cornerback. Hasty was a safety blitzer.
Gunther Cunningham is their defensive coordinator. They employ 85 to 90 different blitzing looks.
Illegal shift, offense. 2 men moving at the same time prior to the snap. Penalty is declined. 4th down.
There's Cunningham right there in the middle. And there's Jimmy Ray to his left and our right, the offensive coordinator.
Just a lot of problems when you get that many looks. And as you see the offensive line leaving the field, there's that arms down, head to chin, a little bit too close to the chest look, as if, man, that was 3 and out. We're just not getting anything done. We don't seem to be having any of our bullets firing full speed.
Bennett to punt. Great hang time on this one. Tamarick Vanover drifting back to the 12. He gets a block from Hughes. Hughes is down, in fact, holding his knee as Vanover goes to the 22-yard line. A 52-yard punt with tremendous hang time, a 10-yard return. Hughes is down. The Chiefs are up 23-0. Elvis Gerbach, who is the normal starting quarterback, broke his collarbone last year, now out with a separated shoulder, and there he is. He may play next week. They're concerned, though, about the hard turf at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia. They may go with Gannon one more week.
No, they will. I don't think they're going to put him on AstroTurf to begin with. In the meantime, Dana Hughes is coming off injured. Andre Risen re-injured his hamstring earlier. They're back down to those thin wide receiver groups. Derek Alexander's playing with a jerry-rigged flak jacket made out of Kelvar, which is a bulletproof material, very lightweight, that the equipment manager put together after he saw a jockey, Julie Crone. Remember, got kicked by a 2,000-pound horse. She only weighs about 90 pounds, and she survived. So I assume they think that'll help Derek Alexander survive the hits in the NFL.
And off to Donnell Bennett. And he's up to the 25 on a gain of 3. We gain Jim Nance from our NFL studios.
You in Kansas City.
Thank you, Jim. Robert Edwards was the backup to Terrell Davis down at Georgia. And many people thought that Edwards was always better than Davis. But Edwards is injured. Davis shined through his junior and senior campaign. And the rest is history, what he did with his MVP in the Super Bowl last year. 2nd down, 7. Gannon stretches it out and throws deep. Caught by Kevin Lockett. Record-setting wide receiver at Kansas State. Made his first career start last couple games, and Gannon right on the money with that 1st down throw.
Little token thing. It's a tough throw, you know, to fake to your right. You lose all sight of what's happening behind you, and that's where you're going to throw the football. The 6 for 17 doesn't look like much, but let me tell you, he's operated a solid offense. He scrambled when he had to. He's made decisions. He has not audible very much last night. You remember he told us he wasn't going to do a lot of audibling unless he had to. No check with me's where you go left or right at the line of scrimmage. Just let's go up and play football. It's work.
1st and 10 from the Kansas City 37. Sheehy, the rookie, in motion out of the backfield as Bennett runs for 2 and is tackled by Norman Hand. Make it Kimball Anders with the carry.
Rashawn Sheehy is their down the field receiver out of the backfield. He is a fast, good receiving running back that they could use to start him in the backfield, send him in motion out wide.
And with Tamarick Vanover injured with the dislocated toe, although returning kicks today, Sheehy has seen more time.
Yeah, and they're just another example of the depth of the Kansas City Chiefs and the influx of fresh new players coming into this organization.
2nd down, 9 for the Chiefs, up 23-0 over the Chargers. The pitch out to Sheehy, chased by Coleman, whacked by Dumas, and gains 3 yards on the carry.
Well, Marty Schottenheimer, who's won more games than any of the active coaches right now, still is looking for that first Super Bowl ring. And this could be this could be the year. You know, every year you say it. You asked him last night, is this the best team you've had? And I don't know if he wanted to put any of the other teams down, but this is one of the better ones.
From 1 to 22, it might be the most glittering starting group, but usually the Chiefs have the deepest roster in the NFL, and success for this team has always been built on team rather than one player. They've shifted their concern a little bit with this past off season. 3rd down and 6. They blow the whistle there as Perella off that defensive line was going after Gannon, and the flag thrown. You know, they went after Chester McLaughlin.
Offense 69, 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
That's Criswell, the left tackle, taking the place of the now retired John Alt.
Yeah, you could hear him say, darn it, right there. And,
well, or something like that, yeah.
Something like that, or shame on me, I believe is what I heard.
You did? They have sensors in your headset, I see.
Well, I'm going to the ear doctor next week. Danon Hughes back in the ball game now, coming back out again, but he went back in. Looks like he's recovered from the shock of contact earlier in the game.
Third downs have not been nice to the Chiefs today. 2 of 10. They came in 7 of 28. Third down and 11. Secondary choice. He goes underneath the Anders, and he is whacked by Harrison. Chiefs have got a punt as we send it off to Jim Nance in New York at CBS.
Well, Ken.
All right, Jim, boy, they're running the ball in Miami. When they get Pittsburgh off kilter, they can really disintegrate.
Well, they can. And Jimmy Johnson, you know, he promoted Kippy Brown to the offensive coordinator. He said, you run it or I'll get rid of you.
They got that great-looking kid, Avery, out of Mississippi. Here's the kick by Aguiar. Landing at the 25. A great Kansas City bounce, rolling to the 9-yard line. And the hang time was about 4.5 seconds after a 55-yard punt.
55-yard punt, no return.
So the Chargers, and there's a flag thrown. The guy just threw the flag as he was standing there, and there's another flag thrown at the 10-yard line.
Well, this could be offsetting, but the frustration of San Diego's day here showed right there. The ball was laying dead. There was a little shoving. Let's see what happens. First part of the penalties, at least, is going to go to against Kansas City. Let's see what the ruling is. This was interesting because all the Kansas City Chiefs were around the ball. Suddenly, a San Diego player looked like he was thrown in against the ball. He came up aggravated. Marty Schottenheimer trying to get a little closer to the action. He's as confused and wondering what happened as we are.
There's Mike Stock on the right side of your screen.
Right, one of the better special teams coaches around the league.
You hired him one time, didn't you?
Yes, sir. He was at Notre Dame. I got him in Cincinnati.
Illegal touch. Number 45 of the kicking team went out of bounds and came in and touched the ball prior to being touched by the receiving team. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay, 4th down.
Bucky Brooks is 45.
The action is once you go out of bounds, you see Brooks going out of bounds. His foot out of bounds. Official drops a hat. He cannot be the first person to touch the ball. Now, he can touch the ball later after someone else. To see both standing around, Joe Horn should have touched it first. Nope. Wrong guy. That'll cost you 5 and try to go.
Something that Marty Schottenheimer just absolutely detests. Special teams problems, turnovers, but the special teams woes of last week. 3 long Jacksonville kick returns. That's not been the case today.
Really, Mike Stock does a terrific job with them, but I was at practice on Friday, and Marty Schottenheimer was all over the field during special teams portion of practice, talking to the players, making sure everybody was on the same page, and they played well on special teams today.
Another punt by Aguiar. Not very long. Rashaw lets it bounce at the 30. Another great Kansas City bounce. And the rookie Favors will get out. There's a flag thrown, another flag thrown on a 54-yard punt by Louis Aguiar.
That's going to go against Kimball Anders, and he's just going to rule it unnecessary roughness. It really wasn't a clip. Close, but not a clip. They were just working over the San Diego Chargers.
Personal foul. Unnecessary roughness on the receiving team. 15 yards. First down.
Oh! The first guy doesn't get called. It's always the second guy.
We'll penalize half the distance.
54 yards.
It's getting worse for the Chargers. Chiefs still lead at 23-0. Well, the penalties against the Chargers, they're backed up, stranded at their 7. They've got it 1st and 10. Ryan Leaf, 6 turnovers today by the team, 5 by Leaf. It is noisy in that end of the stadium. Play action by the rookie. Good time. Barnt comes in, going deep for Still, and it's incomplete. He was covered by Reggie Tongue and James Hasty, and Brian Still on the sights of Ryan Leaf.
Reggie McKenzie lost his helmet trying to protect Ryan Leaf on that. It was a good time to throw the ball deep. When you're backed up like that, everybody gets tight in coverage, trying to get quick pressure, expecting the ball to be run up the middle. Actually, the Still was behind the defender, but ball overthrown.
Leaf throwing today, 1 of 12. He's missed his last 11 throws. 2nd down and 10. Hopping and skipping in the backfield, Means. Not a whole lot there. There goes a flag at the 4-yard line as Means was back maybe to the line of scrimmage. Dick Antek tells us holding against the Chargers.
Okay, what we're seeing right now is we're seeing frustration. You're seeing a football team that in some ways, at least some of these players may be conceding the defeat here, and they're just playing without thinking.
Offense, number 65. Penalty is declined. 3rd down.
John Jackson, the former Steeler.
The fact of the matter is the defense of San Diego has played very well this afternoon. The turnovers have killed them. Field position as a result has worn them out. But now the frustration has started to kick in. What they need to do is right themselves before this game is over with, because there's a long year ahead, and they will be 2-1 if they lose this ball game. Still a good record.
3rd down 11 from the 5. Leaf again with good time, throws a pass, dropped. And that still make it Ricks, the rookie Ricks, across the middle, dropping the pass. Coverage by Woods. San Diego has got a punt. And coming up next, the second game of our doubleheader from Oakland, the Broncos unbeaten against the Raiders. Phil Simms, Greg Gumbel standing by in Oakland.
Let me tell you something. Denver's got the better football team. Napoleon Kaufman. Watch out, Denver. This guy can beat you by himself when he has a hot day.
Bennett's a punt. Vanover at the 50. Wobbly punt, returnable for Vanover from the Charger 47-yard line. Gets a block from McMillan. Hughes tried to throw a block, and Vanover runs out of real estate, knocked out of bounds at about the 37-yard line. A 9-yard return on a 41-yard punt. Tackle was made by Tremaine Stevens. So again, great beginning field position for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Vanover's been pestering Marty Schottenheimer to play, and you can see why.
23-0 Kansas City. Yeah, well, they have the Cheeseheads in Wisconsin. They've got the Arrowheads here in Kansas City.
Well, that's not all they have here. These fans are dressed up in every kind of paraphernalia. Everything, though, is in the colors of the Kansas City Chiefs when you come here.
This is Kansas City's 6th start today in Charger territory after the return of Vanover to the 37, 1st and 10. And Danelle Bennett got a nice block from Grunhard, then is wrapped up after a flag is thrown. William Fuller made the tackle on Bennett. Another flag. Holding against the Chiefs.
Tony Richardson's in there at fullback. Another good block by him. Boy, does he hit with a full speed blow.
They put him in usually like in goal line situations. He's
holding.
Caught some touchdown
Offense,
passes.
number 88. 10-yard penalty. Repeat the down. 1st down.
I think we found one thing Marty is not going to like about this. That's his 11th penalty of the day.
Well, that too, and you know, basketball players, they're going to hold, right? I mean,
that's right.
NBA, you telling me they're not holding the NBA?
It's one of the first places Marty, in fact, saw Gonzalez play was a baskbasketball game.
That's right. He's just
Out
a pure
Berkeley.
athlete.
Yeah.
Pure athlete. Big man, though, at 6'4" and 250 pounds.
They traded up in the draft to get this kid. They like him so much.
You know, Marty said he's never had a player quite like him. It'd be interesting to see how far he goes in this league.
10-yard penalty, 1st and 20. Gannon just slings it beneath the coverage. Caught by Richardson. Breaks a tackle of Lou Bush and gets a sizable gain to the 32-yard line. It's a gain of 15. So he gains 15 on 1st and 20.
Oh, throw a dart at that one.
I think I'll leave that for the analysts here. Go ahead. Want to take it?
Okay.
I'll throw a dart. 2nd down and 5. From the 32. Great time for Gannon. Wide open is Gonzalez, who drops it at the 17-yard line.
And immediately blames the ground and just pounds it. Not blaming the ground, but it's just so wide open. It was so easy. A good throw from Rich Gannon. Now look, Gonzalez is going to peel to his right. Now bend back inside. There comes the inside move. Just fought the pass. You know, sometimes you fight it. When I see a receiver make a good catch, his fingers are open. You see the fingers spread at the knuckles. When he's fighting it, his elbows are in tight and his hands are all closed, and that's what we saw there.
He's dropped 3 passes today.
You catch passes with your fingertips. You don't catch it in your body or with the palms.
Chiefs in control, approaching 5 to play in the third quarter, shutting out the Chargers 23-0. And here go the whistles, and there go the flags. And they stop that before it has a chance to get going.
Delay, offense, 5 yards, still third down.
So 3rd and 5 now becomes 3rd and 10.
Boy, that is so common. Marty he's saying, what in the heck was that? Delay of the game. Well, what happens is when you have something like a drop pass that should have been caught, everybody's a little bit disturbed about it. A couple of comments in the huddle, seconds pass by that you don't miss. You walk up there and you're not checking the clock because you feel like you're on rhythm. And the 40-second clock runs out. Remember, as soon as that play ended, as soon as that ball hit the ground that Gonzalez dropped, the 40-second clock began.
And he's at 7 seconds right now.
Here it comes again. I wonder if he's looking up there. He may not be.
3rd down and 10. There goes the clock went down to 0, but they get that pass away to Gonzalez. And he catches it, but shy of a first down by about a yard. There goes a flag, and here comes some shoving and pushing as Kevin Lockett is exchanging some shoves with Dumas. And then Marty Schottenheimer is out there talking to Dumas right now. They're arguing, a head coach and a player.
Well, I'll tell you what, this kind of goes back to what you were talking with Carl Peterson about the physical play, not just on defense with the Kansas City Chiefs, but throughout their ball club, and Michael Dumas taking issue with it. But Marty doesn't need to be talking to those other players, though, right now.
Personal foul. Number 38 offense. Personal foul. Number 81 on the defense. The penalties are offset. 4th down.
All right, here they go. He had that backwards. It's 81 on offense, 38 on defense. Now the tussling started. That part's not a problem. It's when you grab the face mask or you start to sling arms like that. Obviously, nobody's getting hurt right there, but officials want to stop it before it escalates into something else. Marty Schottenheimer is beside himself, still along the sideline. This is live, not part of the replay.
When you were a coach, was there any kind of regulations you had as a head coach in arguing with a player from an opposing team during a game?
You know, it's an emotional game, and if you're in the game, Marty's a hands-on coach. He's going to be involved in every part of the game. He fights for his players, is exactly what he's doing now. The argument should take place, though, with the official. You know, kind of plead your case there, not with the other player on the sideline. But you know, this guy played linebacker. He's been in the game. He had those pads on. He understands the emotions going on underneath that helmet. Sometimes it just jumps right back out of your body again, even if it's your birthday week. Doesn't count.
This game has had almost as many penalties as the Chiefs have points.
Look at Marty. He's still pleading his case. Now, I tell you, I was that kind of a coach, too, to excess at times. But you argue for your players. You want them to know that you'll fight to the hilt with them. And they've thrown both Lockett and Dumas out.
And with Andre Rison out and Lockett taking his place, that was just a simple shove after a play.
Yeah, but the argument continued on. That's what they did. They said, we're going to stop this right now, and we're going to just take both players out of the ballgame. Now, the problems occur. Lockett is a special teams player. He's also involved in the goal zone.
Joe Horn will take his place, 4th down and 2 from the Charger 28. Here comes Bush. There goes the pass by Gannon, which is dropped. Coverage by Gavea. Incomplete as they were going out of the backfield looking for Kimball Andrews.
That was a 4th down play.
So the Chiefs can't convert on 4th down. An irritated Schottenheimer. The Chiefs lead 23-0. We're back in Arrowhead. Rain has fallen most of the day, and the Chargers have fallen all day. 23-0 Kansas City. Leaf under center. 6 Charger turnovers, 5 attributable to Leaf. Hand off to Means, who tries to bounce outside, keeps his footing, and there he goes. It's a foot race, and Derek Thomas is on his heels. Inside the 30, inside the 20. Natron Means lumbers in for a Charger touchdown. A 72-yard career-long run by Natron Means.
And this is not giving in to the tackle. Never assume or concede the tackle. He's back in the pile, keeps fighting. Everybody else assumes that somebody else is making the play. Half the defense had a chance at him, and then it's a sprint. Actually, Natron Means is not going to leave the entire Kansas City defensive backfield, especially Jerome Woods, but the angle was not there for Woods. Bang, bang, all up in the middle. Everybody's staying on their feet now. Nobody's going to the ground. And Natron Means keeps his eyes open as well as his balance.
They're going to go for 2 after the Means 72-yard touchdown run. And they've deployed 3 wide receivers. Fletcher is in the backfield, and the young quarterback changing the play.
Tough duty right here. Now the penalty.
And he had time, so the play clock was at 2 or 3, and so that wasn't the call.
See what the official is calling right here. That was an unusual call because there was time left on the play clock.
Ball start. Offense, number 63. 5-yard penalty.
They'll throw another penalty flag on Aaron Taylor for getting on that referee microphone.
You've got to keep your cool right there. You know, that microphone is like another discussion of the competition committee waiting to happen about what you're going to do about that, because it is getting picked up on the official's mic.
That's a penalty that is going to cost the Chargers a chance for 2, and they're going to try the extra point now.
They can
with
still
John Carney.
They can still score this 1-pointer and then 2 points on the next 2 touchdowns if they can get it and tie this ball game up.
So Carney on the Bennett hold. Gets the extra point, and there's a lot of time left. 4.5 minutes remaining in the third quarter here in Kansas City. A soggy field, a soggy day. But Natron Means, probably the lone bright spot so far. He has a career-high 139 yards today. The touchdown run, 16 carries. He's been great. And he's averaging, as you can, of course, inflated by the 72-yard run, but nonetheless, he's about 7 yards a carry.
Yeah, he's doing a good job. And I'll tell you, don't underestimate the rivalry factor here that San Diego brought up to us time after time, that this is the team they want to be. This is the team they target. This is a 2-0 football team protecting an undefeated season. And we're still in the third quarter. There's 4.5 minutes left. Plenty of time to get back in this ball game. What happens along the sideline of the team like Kansas City, the team that's ahead, is everybody just assumes this game is done. We got them. We'll just polish them off. And then one big run like that, and San Diego's back in it.
It's good to see the quarterback still buoyant. He knows there's going to be days like this, but if his team can hang in there, you never know.
Well, I tell you what, even come back and make this one competitive right now. With all the turnovers they've had, it says something about their team.
Go back to the San Diego defense and the big stop they had on the 4th and 1.
Right, absolutely. This was after the argument. Everybody was discussing what would happen on the previous play, and they went for it on 4th down, incomplete. Field position and the big run by Means.
John Carney will be kicking off for the Chargers. Carney, who missed 12 games last year because he blew a knee, rehab during the offseason. And after 1 week in the NFL, is already the AFC Special Teams Player of the Week with a wonderful display and a game-winning kick against the Buffalo Bills Week 1.
Got to have them. You know, the kickers get a lot of jokes made about them in the locker room by the guys, but you got to have a good kicker.
So after the 72-yard touchdown run by Means, the ensuing kickoff by Carney, fielded at the 12-yard line by Tamarick Vanover, and he is out to the 27. All the kickoffs today have been very short. Flag throw, that 2 throw.
Got holding against Kansas City. This is going to move them back inside the 20-yard line.
Tamarick Vanover on the return. 15-yard return tackle by James Burgess.
Holding during the return. Number 45, 10-yard penalty. First down.
That's the second one on Bucky Brooks of the Chiefs, a special teams demon. And there's a player down that looks like Pelham McDaniels, if I'm reading 77 correctly.
That's who it is. He's in there on the wedge. He's part of the up front blockers.
Player on the field.
Pelham McDaniels, a defensive lineman in there on the return. And when you got 300 pounds, 299. After dinner, it's 300 plus. You got that guy coming in as a lead blocker. You know, it's when you go over and you ask, can I be on some other team other than a kickoff cover team like this? But
here's a guy who at one time sold things like toothpaste and deodorant to retail stores. Had a tryout with the World League team. Played there 2 years. Made the Chiefs practice squad in '92. Saw action in '93. Filled in for Derek Thomas last year. And with McLaughlin out, they're seeing a lot of Pelham McDaniels this year.
Now, this is, you know, that there's a lot of glory. There's a lot of sparkle in playing in professional sports. But there's, as you just described, there's a lot of grind too, boys. A lot of hard work, a lot of uncertain roads that you have to take.
After this game, most of you will see the Denver Broncos take on the Oakland Raiders, except in Kansas City.
Indianapolis 6.
It'll be the second game of our doubleheader.
John Elway fighting through the little injuries that a guy his age. You're just going to see him have them all year long, probably. He's played with them before. But I tell you, the Oakland Raiders are a team that is clearly turned a corner. Now, They've had a good and a bad outing so far, in my view, but they've got good, explosive people at all positions, and John Gruden's got a different attitude. They look like a different team, still making too many mistakes on the penalty end of it. That may be a habit that's going to take a little bit longer to break.
There's Phillip McDaniels, and there may be not one single chief is involved in more community things than McDaniels, who is also developing some things outside of football. I went to the dentist the other day, had a bad tasting something in his mouth when the dentist was in there working on his teeth. He's trying to come out with a better tasting formula of one sort or another the dentist can use, and he's thinking about a lot of things, trying to make some extra money.
I have no comment. I don't know what to say.
I don't even know what I'm saying. I'm just trying to eat up time.
I'm just so happy to know that.
From the 18-yard line, it's a first down handoff
to Donnell
Bennett.
Yeah, but does he walk around on the field barefoot before a game?
No, not like you.
Okay.
I don't think anybody in this city would walk around barefoot on this turf except you.
I didn't mind people maybe having a little chuckle, but when they would point, I didn't like that. They would laugh out loud and point at me. That wasn't fun. Before the game, I did a little.
Oh, it's too bad that I was laughing at you. I'm supposed to be your big ally, right?
Before the game, I was in bare feet doing a little report back to the studio, and that's what happened. That's what we're talking about for those of you that weren't in on that.
Second down and 7. Pitch out to Bennett, and Donnell climbs over a defender, picks up 3, setting up third down and about 4. The Chiefs have had 13 penalties called on them today, 7 on the special teams. So inconceivable as it may have seemed last year when their special teams coach Mike Stock was the special teams coach of the year in the NFL. They've had 2 straight games where special teams have now drifted into kind of some bad territories. You see Stock.
Well, it's easy to do it. It's like anything else. You start to get a few bad habits. They've been playing now with a lot of injuries, and when you get a lot of injuries, even if those guys aren't your special teams guys, the special teams guys are taking their place, and it affects the play of the rest of the special teams.
3rd and 4. That ball slips out of Gannon's hand. It's loose.
It's a fumble. The green flag. Jelly bean came out.
And it's at the 15-yard line, and the Chiefs have retained it. Richardson jumped on it, but they got a punt nonetheless.
When you see an official throw the little green bean bag, it means that he's calling it a fumble, not a forward pass. See, the ball's back. It comes out before the arm comes forward. Dick Hentak, the referee, standing behind the throw where he got a good view of it. Very close. Marco Coleman almost had that one just fall right in his lap. That would have been a big turnaround for the Chargers. But they're going to get field position now.
And they just scored the last time they had it on a 72-yard touchdown run by Natrone Means. Aguiar to punt. Setting up the return with no rush put on, and this one is booted long and high, and Rashal backpedaling to his own 29. Breaks one tackle of Bucky Brooks, and then he is brought down by Danon Hughes at the 40-yard line. We're down to the final 2:07 of the third quarter. PS.
First down.
Okay, an important drive right here. Now San Diego can get right back in this ball game if they can get some points on the board.
From the 40, good field position. 1st and 10. Means hands off after a leap. Looked like he tripped just a bit, and all he can muster is about a yard as Donnie Edwards, 59, brings him down.
He didn't get full control of the snap that time. Quarterbacks drill. When the ball is snapped, the first place the ball goes is kind of in your gut. You pull it in tight, so if there's ever a mishandle of the ball, you've got your arms, your elbows, and your thigh pads and everything else to pull it back in. That's exactly what happened right there. Plus, if you pull the ball away from you, coming out from under center, an arm that a guard may pull back as he pulls or blocks can knock the ball loose. So they got a little lucky there, but only lucky because they had good drills and good technique.
2nd down 9, double tight ends for the Chargers, who trail 23-7 late in the third quarter. And Means getting a block from Burke, and then brought down again by Donnie Edwards. How this kid slipped to the 4th round out of UCLA, I will never know. Had a great junior year, injured his senior year, and then he lost contact and a lot of his appeal to a lot of scouts and general managers, except for the Kansas City Chiefs, who drafted him in the 4th round. They think he is a superstar in the making.
Don't underestimate the rumor mill. Scouts going out looking at players. If he gets hurt, you wonder about his health, and you wonder about always the question of attitude. Is he out more than he should be? That kind of stuff. Bucky Woods and Mark McMillan are in the ball game now for Kansas City and the dime defense.
3rd down and 8 from the 42. 3 wide receivers. Leaf blitzes on, and he's hit and dragged down and brought down by Melvin Johnson. A draft day acquisition from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and there's a penalty flag. In fact, 2 right around the 30-yard line.
I think he may have a fast face mask. Boy, there's a lot of flags down there.
3 of them. And they all saw the same thing.
Come on, Dick. We stopped talking so you could.
Personal foul. Face mask defense. Number 35. 15 yards. First down.
That's a killer, and that is not the ordinary variety. That's the major league time.
Yes, sir. Solid blitz by Melvin Johnson. He's getting to the... Now, really, that's not something that's done on purpose. You're reaching, grabbing for everything you can, and if you lock on there, sometimes... I really believe ball players don't even know they've got the face mask. Everything is happening so fast, they don't want to let go because they figure the tackle will break loose. The ball carrier will break loose from their tackle. But he knew immediately that he committed the foul. And if he didn't know immediately, he was hit by about 3 flags, at least in his peripheral vision.
And the Chargers are still breathing.
They're still in this ball game.
They're breathing.
Do you know, Carl Peterson mentioned that, and he said, I don't like this. At the time we were talking to Carl, it was 16-0. We're letting these guys hang around. And now they're back in it to that 16-point deficit.
They got a couple tight ends with Means in the backfield from the 45 and kept alive on the face mask by Johnson of Kansas City. A block by Burks. There goes Means. Maybe a yard. Maybe a yard. Dale Carter gets off the pile, and Anthony Davis was the first to make connection with Means, and that can't feel too good. Means weighs 245. And is like that Jerome Bettis type running back. Low to the ground and like a sledgehammer. That'll be the final play of the third quarter. Frustrating day for Junior Seau. Chiefs on top 23-7. Will return to Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City after this message and a word from your local CBS station. We begin the fourth quarter at Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City. It's 2nd down and 10 for Leaf. Underneath he goes, bobbled by the 6'5 rookie Ricks. Incomplete. They like this kid a lot out of Stephen F. Austin. They traded a number 1 in the year 2000, move up in the draft and get this kid in the 2nd round. He drops it there. He dropped a couple last week as well.
Well, you know, I can remember Bill Walsh when I was playing and coaching. He used to tell me that you've got to complete the ball. The ball has to arrive above the waist, because when you've got to bend below the waist, number 1, you're liable to lose your footing. You fall down. You don't have to run after the catch. And if you think about the passing game, if you throw for 3,000 yards in 1 year, about 1,500 yards is when the ball is in flight. The other 1,500 is the run after the catch. If you're throwing the ball low like that, you take away that last 1,500.
It's tough, especially when you're 6'5". Shotgun snap. Rushes on. He gets away from Davis. He gets away from O'Neal. And he gets away at the last second. Donnie Edwards brings him down. When I grew up in San Diego, I admired those old Don Coryell Chargers. I wish I'd have gotten the sack. And the Chiefs hold on, and they force San Diego to punt.
I tell you what, Ryan Leaf was going to be gone for some big yardage if it wasn't for Donnie Edwards, but he's here in part because he's fast. He's a nickel and dime linebacker, means that he's got the speed to cover and to chase down quarterbacks.
Bennett to punt, 23-7. The Chiefs on top of the Chargers. And Tamarick Vanover deep back for Kansas City. Waving his hand, and it's fair. He called for the fair catch and then didn't get up to the ball, and then it bounces and takes a great Charger bounce back inside the 10, but
they're going to get the ball.
Marked it back near the 20.
Right. They're going to get the ball where one of the Chargers kicked the ball. It went back inside the 10, but where it was first touch is where the ball will be spotted. That ball is also alive. The Kansas City Chiefs had a free shot. Just go scoop it up, because you're going to get...
touch. Ball is placed at the spot of the touch. First down.
Okay, I just said that, Dick, but that's all right. Now, look, the ball right there. It's kicked hard, and the ball is going to be spotted back where Gerald Dixon kicked it.
Damp Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City with Sam Weish, Kevin Harlan. The Chiefs lead it 23-7. From the 20-yard line, 1st and 10. We're in the fourth quarter, just seconds into it. And here's Gannon right to work on first down. He throws outside to Derek Alexander, who's thrown a couple of 1,000-yard seasons together with the Baltimore Ravens and an offseason acquisition by Kansas City. Oh, they're going to wipe it away. They've overruled the one official who called it a completion. The other one waved it off, so they overrule it. Incomplete, 2nd down and 10.
Said he didn't have full possession. Derek Alexander's playing with a rib cage that's been devised by the equipment people here. It's made out of Kelvar, which is basically a bulletproof material worn by police officers. And he got the idea from watching a jockey jockeys wear this because if they fall, they get kicked by the horses. And so as you can see, it doesn't take up much room. It's very light, but maybe he didn't have that ball pulled in tight enough.
2nd down 10. Here comes Norman Hand, and Gannon just throws it away. Rather, Leslie O'Neill and William Fuller were coming, and there's one flag. He was not outside the tight end. He was still in the pocket and threw it away.
Okay, now Rich Gannon, pleading his case, going to get another penalty now because, number one, he touched Dick Hantak, which is a no-no. I think Dick let it go. But number two, he kicked the flag. So he's going to get another 15-yard unsportsmanlike. Or it'll be half the distance because of where the ball is on the field. Dick may not give it to him. Looked like he was talking about that one.
Intentional grounding on number 12. Loss of down. 3rd down.
You've got to be outside the tight ends. Inside the tight ends is considered the pocket. He was in the pocket. He threw it away. Outside the tight ends, he can throw it any place.
Well, unless there's a receiver in the area. What Rich Gannon was arguing, there was somebody in the area. I just threw a bad pass. It bounced to the guy. What he was doing, everybody knows he's throwing the ball away. The argument that they've got is, look, you put these rules in to protect the quarterback. You give us a way to, save a hit, then we do it. 15 penalties today. Franchise record for the Kansas City Chiefs. Not something they like to put in the playbook, in the media guide next year. But that's what he's arguing. He's saying, you give me a chance. There's a rule in here that I can save myself from getting hit. I do it, and I get penalized for it. But the rule is you've got to be outside the tackles, and if you're inside the tackles, you've got to be throwing to a receiver. Judgment call by the official. Dick Hantak ruled he wasn't throwing to a receiver.
Now they're visiting with Kevin Gilbride and explaining the call on the opposite side of the field.
No, I'll tell you what they're doing. Another flag was thrown because Rich Gannon kicked the flag. Dick Hantak, you could see, when he was told about the kicking, he turned and said, no, I'm not going to call that penalty on Rich Gannon, and they didn't call it. I tell you what, I think the San Diego Chargers have some arguments in the way this thing has gone today, because there have been some calls, could have gone either way. They seem to all be going for Kansas City.
Minute 2 gone here in the 4th quarter. 3rd down 22, and they try to get some breathing space with Anders getting the call as we call upon Jim Nance.
And New England's up 11. Back to you.
Patriots lost on opening night in Denver, winning last week against Peyton Manning and the Colts. Looks like they're going to win again this afternoon.
A lot of talent. Team that ought to be right in the hunt in December.
So the 8-yard run on 3rd down by Anders gives some breathing space to Aguiar. Bad punt, though, landing at the 5 and getting a good bounce near the 41-yard line. With only a 3-second hang time, and Aguiar doesn't like it.
Rodney Harrison had a notion to go after that ball late. Thought better of it.
The Chiefs lead it 23-7.
What?
That is a serious fan.
He's your neighbor. What are you laughing at? Your guy lives right down the street from you. I saw it.
He's wearing the teeth the wrong way. I told him pull him back more around his neck. 1st and 10, Leaf with the handoff to Means, who gets a block from Still and dives ahead, close to a 1st down, about a gain of 9.5. He had a 72-yard touchdown romp earlier in the game that accounts for all of San Diego's scoring. It's been a record day rushing-wise for Natron Means.
Natron Means has tremendous vision. The hole was designed off the right side. He bends it back to the left side, picking up 9.5 yards right here. The Chiefs have got to step it a little bit here. San Diego's still in this ball game. The rain's starting to come down again. Factors are changing.
They can do anything here in Kansas City. Every time the Chargers have it, it begins to rain. A handoff again to Means on 2nd down and 1. And look at him catapult his way near the 40-yard line of the Chiefs. Explosive Natron Means, who has carried the ball a ton today. 21 carries, 161 yards.
And it looks like Dale Carter is down. He's made the tackle and hasn't moved since.
He had a foot injury that kept him out of the starting lineup last week in Jacksonville, and he is face down right now at the 42. Chiefs have had some injuries. Andre Rison, after he caught the touchdown pass, pulled a hamstring. Another Kansas City injury. Timeout taken. Good news if you're a Kansas City fan. There's Dale Carter, walked off under his own power. Mark McMillan will take his place as the Chiefs are bombing the Chargers 23-7. Early stages of the fourth quarter. Tough day for Ryan Leaf. 5 turnovers, including a couple interceptions. It's 1st and 10 from the Chiefs 40 for Leaf and the Chargers. Means with his 22nd carry of the day, grabbed and brought down by Tom Barnt, a guy that used to play on the offensive end of things. They changed him last training camp. Went back and forth with Joe Phillips at the nose tackle, and when Dan Sally-Muir was gone, Phillips was sent away to St. Louis. This kid got the starting role. There he is. He's out of Pitt.
He loves that defense, too. He'd rather be there than on offense, he told us last night. You know, one thing to look at, we're there in that soft part of the field now, right about the 40-yard line. Mark McMillan came in for Dale Carter's 5'7". Remember that Michael Ricks is 6'5". There's a matchup they go after.
And they got it at the bottom of your screen right there. You see Ricks at about the 43. A fumble by Leaf. This time he dives on it near midfield.
Boy, that's frustrating for everybody, not just the 2 players, center and quarterback involved, but everybody on the sideline. You're wondering whether you can get the play underway. You know, the best thing to do in situations like this, on days like this, get a good wet ball in between every series. You go over there and you take 3 or 4 or 5 snaps until there's absolute confidence. Part of that is just confidence. You can't stay under center and just wait on the ball too long, or it blows up the timing of the play.
So it's 3rd and 18.
I saw that look, Kevin Gilbride. I know the feeling.
Boy, painful to look at him, wasn't it?
Yep.
4-man rush. Here comes Thomas. He hits Leaf, who throws incomplete. Derek Thomas, who is sackless today, has come that close many times on Leaf this afternoon.
Going up against John Jackson now. Derek Thomas up at the top of the screen. You see that as soon as you see an offensive tackle's shoulders turn, like you did number 65, Jackson right there, he's beaten. And with a quick rusher up the field like Thomas, the best thing to do is just turn and chase him, try to push him by and hope the quarterback can step up into the pocket. Didn't happen then.
Thomas was in on a gang sack earlier in the game, which they'll record as a half sack, but not a full-fledged Derek Thomas authored sack that we've come so close to seeing as Vanover circles under it at about the 13-yard line and grabs the 36-yard punt by Darren Bennett. Derek Thomas, who leads the NFL in sacks to the first couple weeks, and the Chiefs leading 23-7. It is a nasty day at Arrowhead Stadium. 23-7. The Chiefs on top of the Chargers. Couple tight ends for Rich Gannon, and the handoff to Donnell Bennett. Hurdle to defender and takes it out with a little breathing room out to the 17-yard line. All right.
It's got to be close to a classic, right?
I would say, yeah.
2 classic entertainers, that's for sure.
2nd down and 5. Hughes is on the move, and the handoff to Donnell Bennett again.
Oh, boy. Look at the surge that the Chiefs got that time. Norman Hand took a little ride. Once you get your feet out of position to where you can't dig in, you're going to get it. And the offensive, the Chiefs, watch Norman Hand just to the top inside of your screen. Here comes the ball now. There goes Hand, way back. Actually, that was John Perella, wasn't it? Hand was taking a little bit of a ride. The big ride was John Perella. But what you've got is a soft surface now. Cleats give away quickly.
2nd straight weeks, the San Diego defense has seen a mobile quarterback. Last week, Steve McNair at Tennessee. This week, Rich Gannon, 3rd down and 3. Bennett with the block, buying time for his quarterback Gannon. That pass is incomplete off the fingertips of Derek Alexander. Incomplete, and Kansas City's got a punt.
Terrence Shaw was right there, but that was really Derek Alexander not able to twist back. Probably those ribs, a little bit of a factor there, and that flak jacket working his mobility some. Big 3 and out right there now for the San Diego Chargers. That's 3 straight 3 and outs for the defensive unit of the San Diego Chargers. These guys are back in the ball game, and what has happened is Kansas City's allowed them to hang around. Now look, it's a 16-point difference. 2 scores and 2 2-point conversions, and we're in overtime. This one's not over.
You're an optimist.
I'm an optimist. I'm not disguised as empty seats now, as some of the fans are.
Right, exactly.
A lot of them have decided to go home and watch this one on TV or stand up underneath the covers here to watch the rest of this ball game.
This is a penalty on the Chargers, and the Chiefs are back in business on offense.
Oh, my optimism just took a nosedive.
Yes, I was going to say.
Neutral zone infraction, defense, 5 yards, 1st down.
Look at Kevin Gilbride, the coach of the San Diego Chargers. You know, mistakes of turnovers just kill you, of course, but a mistake like that, when you have fought through those turnovers and kept yourself alive in the fourth quarter, and then you give the ball back to them.
Another special teams infraction. Wayne Sevier taking the place of Frank Novak. We talked about it in the first half. And
let me tell you, Wayne Sevier is a fine coach. Frank Novak's a fine coach, too. The players play the game, not the coaches.
So the Chiefs back in business at the 25, 1st and 10. And a big hole. Donnell Bennett out to the 36, a gain of 11 yards. And right up the middle, you got a great block from the interior.
Will Shields came around and just pulled around from right to left. Key block. Right guard now is going to pull around to left. See him come around. Block down, block down. Shields comes around. Good solid block right there on number 56. Steve Tovar just arrived here from Cincinnati.
10 from the 36.
Nice blocking scheme. Down, down, guard around.
Shields has started basically every game of his career except for the first plays of the very first game. And he's put in about play 3 or 4, and he's started ever since. Richardson and Bennett in the backfield. Play action by Gannon. Swings a pass downfield, and it is dropped. Joe Horn, 84, the former All-Star with the Canadian Football League, drops it. 8 drops today by Kansas City alone.
Wow. Part of the drop was caused by Greg Jackson's quick hit on Joe Horn, but you know, you will hear it said it was wet, the ball was slippery, and all that kind of stuff. No excuses. The ball game, you practice in wet weather. You almost intentionally hope you get wet days to practice. See, the ball is there. That was Greg Jackson stripping the ball loose before possession was held.
2nd down and 10 from the 36. Bennett plowing ahead out to the 41-yard line. The field has stayed, you know, in pretty good shape considering all the rain that this city has had. They had it tarped up until just an hour before kickoff. And right now they're probably in the worst section of the entire field, right between the hash marks between 30 and 45.
There's no question. You know, Donnell Bennett told us last night if he were king, he would rush the ball 25 to 30 times. He's already got 22 of them today for 73 yards.
And 115 opening night against the Oakland Raiders.
He may be anointed here king here. He did his 25 momentarily.
Chiefs have missed their last 10 third down conversions. Shuttle pass caught by the former backup to Brent Jones in San Francisco. That's Ted Popson, the tight end, who makes the grab, and Greg Jackson makes the tackle after a gain of 9 and a 1st down for the Chiefs.
Good call right there. Just a token fake and an easy throw out in the flat.
The Oakland Raiders will host the Denver Broncos for many of you, except in Kansas City, in Game 2 of our doubleheader.
Toughest division in football right there, the AFC West. We're looking at 2 of the teams here. Oh, I think so. We're looking at the 2 teams we're looking at today. Denver is the strongest team of the bunch, led by John Elway, but he's nicked up. Watch out.
1st and 10. Here's Bennett. Marco Coleman got a hand on him, the former Miami Dolphin, and Norman Hand, another Dolphin. Refugee who's on the San Diego team. Even when you take a look at the NFC Central, with the Buccaneers and Detroit, and Minnesota, and Green Bay, all in that division, you'd still say this AFC West is better.
I think they're better. I'm not saying that other divisions aren't good, but I think this one, top to bottom, the poorest team in that group that you just mentioned is probably the San Diego Chargers. This is not a bad football team. They have self-destructed here with turnovers, and they're still in the ball game in the fourth quarter.
St. Louis scoring a lot of points again today. Green Bay just got out of Cincinnati with the win. The Pack unbeaten at 3-0. 2nd down, 9th play of the drive, and up the middle, Rashawn Sheehy busting free down to the 40. Sheehy, the 3rd-round pick out of Washington, a gain of 9, finally brought down by Terrence Shaw.
Well, he is a slick ball carrier, mostly known around here up to this point anyway as a receiver, deep receiver as well. A lot of speed when he gets into the open territory. 2 plays in a row now, right after the handoff. Rich Gannon heads over to get a towel, but Sheehy is making yardage up the field. He gets all the way to the secondary. Terrence Shaw's the last guy to stop him.
Takes some air out of that Sheehy helmet. 3rd down and 1. Marcus Spears, 70, an eligible receiver. There's a fumble on the snap, and it's down at the 40-yard line. We've seen that all day, mainly on the San Diego side of things, and looks like the Chiefs have jumped on it, and in the process may have gotten the first down.
Well, that's what I was saying. They may have made a first down on a very unusual call there. Schottenheimer fumbled it forward and fall on it. But no, they didn't. The ball's going to be spotted back. I think Kansas City will go for this right here. A punt won't net you too much of a difference. Out of field goal range. They're going back in the huddle with that same short yardage goal line unit in there. Be less than a yard. And they want to think about it.
Chiefs have converted 1 4th down today. That Gannon was the guy in 4th and 2 in the first quarter that kind of got the ball rolling for the Chiefs early in the game.
You know, before that fumble, Rich Gannon, on the 2 previous plays, each of the 2 previous plays, after the ball was handed off, he ran to the sideline and asked for a towel to wipe his arm off. And many times you'll get mud. The ball in the middle of the field right there won't pick up just wet. It'll pick up mud. And that mud just gets caked in your hands there, and you can't get it off your fingertips, and you lose your grip.
Well, next Saturday on CBS Sports, it's a NASDAQ College Football Watch. Overtime win for Tennessee.
Big-time rivalry there, boy.
4th and 1. Richardson in the backfield, giving the block for Bennett, who easily cruises for the first down to the 37-yard line. And now it may just be a matter of time. The way the Chiefs are rolling, they began this drive back at their own 13-yard line. Greg Jackson, a former Giant who played in the Super Bowl in '90, makes the tackle.
Well, there's 5 minutes left, and if you're the coach, you're offensive coach, you're telling the quarterback, milk every play to 40 seconds. In other words, try to snap that ball with less than 5 seconds left on the 40-second clock. Spend a little bit more time in the huddle, but spend the extra time at the line of scrimmage. You don't want to get yourself caught up there and maybe have to audible. 6 minutes. 6 minutes on this particular drive already. That's how you put a team away.
Bennett with a couple yards. You know, I'm looking over at the sideline at Ryan Leaf, and you can't help but think about how he came into this game today as the first rookie quarterback to start his first 2 NFL games and win them both since John Elway in 1983. And what he must be thinking now after what has been an absolutely horrendous day.
Well, he's not happy with himself right now, and he knows that part of the results of this ball game actually occurred because of turnovers that he was directly involved with. But it's part of the growing process that the team goes through, not just the quarterback. The whole team has to grow with this guy.
2nd down and 9. Pops in again, goes in motion. The pump fake pitch by Gannon, who then throws another drop pass by Tony Gonzalez. He's dropped 4 today. He's the Ryan Leaf of the Chiefs. He can't hold on to anything.
That's right. He's a young player as well. Basketball player we've mentioned, still learning the football part of it. The little token fake. Rich Gannon let the clock go down to 2 seconds before the ball was snapped. Has possession. The problem he had right there, he makes the catch. He didn't put the ball away. You got to look it in and tuck the ball away. Didn't happen.
June Jones is a quarterback coach. He tried a similar process preparing Jim Kelly before Kelly's rookie season, trying to throw as much at him as possible. And that's what they're doing with Leaf now in San Diego. They are trying to put him in that same position. Now, Elway struggled when he was a rookie, it's obvious.
Kansas City.
And Leaf, who had a great game last week with not one single mistake and got a win week 1 against Buffalo, may have the sun on him right now, but he's going to be closing his eyes when he takes a look at this game tape tomorrow back in Southern California.
I think Saul got just about as big a cheer as we've heard in the second half here. When that sun came out, the crowd just started going crazy. Look at all the rain gear coming off. Settling back in for the last 3 minutes and 47 seconds right here. Now, from the standpoint of the San Diego Chargers, it all rests on them being able to create a turnover. They cannot just stop them here in the drive. The drive is going on close to 7 minutes now. They've got to get the turnover, and then we'll be looking at an onside kick if they can score.
Long week for Leaf, who was in the hospital Thursday night. They brought a videotape machine to his hospital bedside so he could still study tapes of the Chiefs.
How about taking a wire brush to scrape the wound open so they could get all the nylon fiber that had burned in that wound?
3rd down and 9 from last week's game in Nashville. You're right, here's a quick pass, which is caught by Joe Horn. Gain of 11, another Kansas City first down.
Yeah, we don't want to lose sight of how important that first down was right there. A little inside throw, quick throw, don't make any mistakes, and then hold on to the football. Joe Horn is aware of the fact that another big disaster could happen after that catch, and that's losing that ball on a fumble. That first down gives them now a chance with the game closing in. It gives them a chance to go ahead and end the ball game while they have possession.
And Gannon, who has thrown to 8 different receivers, finds Horn right there for the first down. And on 1st and 10, again, they give it to their big, strong running back, Donnell Bennett. Picks up perhaps 3 on the carry.
Tackle by Norman Hand.
Norman Hand makes the tackle for the San Diego Chargers.
Gain of 4 yards on the play.
Tough decision here defensively whether you start calling timeouts or not. You got to get the ball back twice, so calling timeouts at this point won't help you the next time you step out there on the field.
Chiefs in the AFC West in the 90s here. Arrowhead Stadium after today will be 29-5. The Chargers have come in having won 2 of their last 4 games here. But not so today. Gilbride lost last year 31-3 after 19 penalties were called on his team. Today he's going to lose it to the Chiefs. Here's a 2nd down and 6. Bennett again to the 17-yard line, and Marco Coleman wraps him up, as does Rodney Harrison from the secondary.
He was telling us about the last 2 times Kevin Gilbride was that he came into Arrowhead, got beat, as you just mentioned, the last time. The time before that, Warren Moon and the Houston Oilers had a hot day. Warren Moon threw for over 500 yards. But he's had some good times too.
We have reached the 2-minute warning at Arrowhead in Kansas City, and it's all Chiefs. Chiefs in the midst of a 16-play drive. We're at the 2-minute warning with the Kansas City Chiefs on top of San Diego 23-7 with Sam Weish, Kevin Harlan. You're holding the football there. And
well, you know what I'm saying is when the people in Ada, Ohio, that make this football for Wilson, they made it oblong, they made it slick when it gets wet, it really affects the ball game. Turnovers make a difference in the ball game. These 2 teams aren't that far apart other than the turnovers.
It's 3rd down and a couple to go. Bennett again trying to submarine his way, and he does for a 1st down, taking it to about the 15-yard line. Boy, this has been a terrific drive by the Kansas City Chiefs to end this game. And for San Diego, where do they go from here? They came in undefeated, and their hopes were just completely shattered.
Well, they've got to regroup and understand why they lost the ball game. They lost the ball game because they lost this football during the ball game and turnovers. They're not a poor football team after 1 defeat. They legitimately won the first 2 games. They won it in low-scoring affairs. Their defense is going to keep them in games while Ryan Leaf continues to develop. He's got to have a few of these days. You know it's going to happen. It's a bitter pill to swallow when it does, though.
And the Chiefs making a definite statement with their game today, even though it was a penalty-filled game for Kansas City, and a handoff again for Bennett, who was whacked initially by Marco Coleman. And then Harrison came to finish him off.
Kansas City Chiefs, on the other hand, really have to feel good about the fact that they have corrected the mistakes that were made last week in Jacksonville with their special teams. Gave up a punt return for a touchdown, a kickoff return, set up another. This is a football team that does not accept mistakes. Kansas City is too full of the tradition of winning.
They've done it every year since Schottenheimer came, along with Carl Peterson in '89. 19th play of the drive. Donnell Bennett sent right between the tackles again, which is basically where all of his runs on this drive have been aimed.
Well, he's a downhill runner, as described to us by the players from San Diego, and he certainly came through today with his wish. He got to carry the ball over 25 times. A big win for Marty Schottenheimer and the Kansas City Chiefs.
The Chiefs finished the game by holding the ball the final 10 minutes and 40 seconds as they run roughshod over Ryan Leaf, who turned it over himself today 5 times. The Chargers as a team 6 turnovers. Those 5 turnovers, by the way, happened before we got even deep in that second quarter. I mean, these are all early in the game.
Well, and they happened in positions that gave the Kansas City Chiefs tremendous field position. They didn't have to go far to win the ball game, or to score touchdowns to win the ball game.
For many of our stations along the line, you'll be seeing the Denver Broncos, who are unbeaten so far in the AFC West, take on the Oakland Raiders, who you think are a much improved team.
They're clearly a better, and they are getting better too. They're not just a team that got better and here they are. They're getting better every week.
Now for Sam Weish, this is Kevin Harlan saying so long from Rockin' Arrowhead Stadium, where the final score, Chiefs 23, Chargers 7. You're watching the NFL on CBS.
Barbara Porter and Russell Kinsall, tonight on News 5.